A rub that has won championships and will help make you a champ in your kitchen or backyard. Check out Mike's recipes and pick up a bottle or 6 today at shop.mikechurch.com. Here's what to listen for this hour. Trump notifies Congress of armed conflict with drug cartels. Military community reacts to Hegseth's demand for fitness loyalty. Hamas military chief rejects Trump's ceasefire plan. And the FDA just admitted what many have feared for years. Radioactive contamination is making its way into U.S. food imports. President Donald Trump has declared drug cartels to be unlawful combatants, says the United States is now in a non-international armed conflict, according to a newly obtained memorandum. The Trump administration has carried out 3 strikes in recent weeks on boats it said were smuggling drugs into the Caribbean, starting with a September 2nd strike that administrative officials said killed 11 members of Tren de Aragua, a criminal group that originated in Venezuela. Therefore, the president determined these cartels are non-state armed groups, designated them as terrorist organizations, and determined that their actions constitute an armed attack against the U.S., said a White House spokesperson. War Secretary Pete Hegseth delivered a blunt message to military leaders from around the globe this week. Get fit and get on board with the Trump agenda or get out. It marked the first time generals from around the world had been summoned to convene with the secretary, and many had expected closed-door announcements on trimming the General Officer Corps, drawing down forces in the Middle East and Europe, or cutting civilian and contractor roles. Instead, what they got was a televised address from Hegseth and President Donald Trump, the secretary pushing a populist message of handing decision-making back to the warfighter, requiring senior leadership to perform physical training in line with lower-ranking officers, and bringing uniformity back to the force. Hamas's top military leader in Gaza wants the terror group to reject President Trump's ceasefire proposal, urging negotiators to walk away from the deal. Ez al-Din al-Haddad, who helped plan the October 7, 2023 terrorist attack, slammed Trump's 20-point peace deal as a way to eliminate Hamas without achieving any of its goals, the BBC reported. Our quote of the day: "Nothing great is ever achieved without enduring much." St. Catherine of Siena. Coming up, our saint of the day. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Cappuccino Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mikechurch.com. We don't work on Sundays, and you shouldn't work on Sundays, but our priests work every Sunday.
And we literally thank God for that, because who else could turn a lazy Sunday into a spiritual adventure? We invite you to spend your Sundays with our priests on Sermon Sundays, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Get timely, seasonal, inspirational, and educational sermons from Catholic priests, all wrapped up in the best Catholic sacred chant music that's so heavenly, it might just make your halo glow. That's Sermon Sunday, where faith meets fun without missing a beat.
Catch all new seasonal sermons every Sunday morning, 6 a.m. East to 6 p.m. exclusively here on the Crusade Channel.
And now, for the first time ever, those soul-stirring sermons you soak up on Sunday are available as podcasts Monday through Saturday on crusade.com. Because even divine wisdom needs a replay button. And who wouldn't want a holy encore to kick off their week without the risk of divine intervention for hitting snooze?
Our saint of the day is Saint Therese of Lisieux. I prefer the monotony of obscure sacrifice to all ecstasies. To pick up a pin for love can convert a soul. These are the words of Therese of Lisieux, a Carmelite nun called the Little Flower, who lived a cloistered life of obscurity in the convent of Lisieux, France. And her preference for hidden sacrifice did indeed convert souls. Few saints of God are more popular than this young nun. Her autobiography, The Story of a Soul, is read and loved throughout the world. Therese Martin entered the convent at the age of 15 and died in 1897 at the age of 24. She saw in quiet suffering a redemptive suffering, a suffering that was indeed her apostolate. Therese said she came to the Carmel convent to save souls and pray for priests, and shortly before she died, she wrote, "I want to spend my heaven doing good on earth." Therese was canonized in 1925, and on October the 19th of 1997, Pope John Paul II proclaimed her a Doctor of the Church, the third woman to be so recognized in the light of her holiness and the influence of her teaching on spirituality in the Church. The FDA just admitted what many have feared for years: radioactive contamination making its way into U.S. food imports from nuclear disasters like Fukushima. First it was shrimp, 84 million pounds shipped from Indonesia this year alone. Now it's cloves, according to naturalnews.com. Cloves, obviously a common kitchen spice, both tested positive, both the cloves and the shrimp, for cesium-137, a deadly radioactive isotope linked to nuclear disasters. While officials claim no tainted products reached the store shelves, hundreds of thousands of shrimp packages sold at Kroger and other major retailers have already been recalled. The FDA only reacts after contamination is discovered, raising doubts about undetected radiation in rice, coconut products, and other imports. I'm Janet Huxley for the Crusade Channel, seeking news and finding truth.
You may not believe it, but Bram Stoker's Dracula may be a work of non-fiction.
What? That's scarier than getting stuck in an elevator with Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, good grief. Really? Come on, I'm trying to be serious here. Okay. Hear it and other amazing tales on Turley's Believe It or Else, 10 to 11 a.m. Central, every Tuesday on the Crusade Channel. Our app and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
So let's go back.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem. I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why did they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
Boy, you done soybeaned it now, boy. You done stepped into the soybeans, boy. Can I ask a question? How did American farmers become beholden to the Chinese purchasing American soybeans? when soy sauce comes from China. Asking for a friend. Mike Church Show here on the Crusade Channel on a free phone Friday live, asking the question of the day.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Well,
and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day.
I'll tell you.
So, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
It's free phone. It's free phone.
Yes, it is a free phone Friday. Yay! There you are charged with the task of telling us what it is we might talk about on the program. You may choose from the smorgasbord of previous topics on this show and this channel here today. Call-in line telephone number 844-527-8723, 844-5-CRUSADE. Email address same as it ever has been. Never gets used, but I'll give it out anyway. I am KingDude at protonmail.com. Crusader Stadium chat room does get used and abused. CrusadeChannel.com/chat. I think I'm going to start running the rebroadcast of Thursday Night Throwdown on Friday, since no one seems to be able to make Thursday night. Maybe we'll just call it Thursday night/Friday morning Throwdown, other than Maggie. Maggie and who else makes it regularly? Main Man. Main Man makes it every week. In any event, it was fun last night talking about weapons. Next week's topic, I'm going to give it to you in advance. You have 7 days to figure out how to avoid not showing up on Thursday night for sports rivalries. Which is a great one. Sure. Because we have, you have so many. You have we used to have great rivalries in the state of Louisiana. We used to have, back in the day before money became a thing, Tulane and LSU would play every year, and it was the biggest sporting event in all of Louisiana. In any event, sporting rivalries. Yes, we'll do it next Thursday night. Make your plans now not to attend. You have 6.5 days to come up with all manner of excuses not to attend. I think we should start off this morning talking about something that is obscure and no one cares about. Maggie, your light is touching the iMac, and my hands are touching the counter that the iMac is sitting on. And so when I move said hands, the iMac moves and hits your light, and it looks like we have a strobe effect going here. Okay. Yesterday, Arthur Bloom of Arthuriana popped a story that went right over most people's heads. They didn't even hear it. I heard it. And then I read a little bit more about it yesterday. Who was I looking at on the Twata? I'll have to go back and look through my history. Okay, so we talked about the wed woes that was Israel's Zionism, and how the bloom has been fading. To where now the wed woes is all wilted, and there's only a couple of wilted petals left on it, and people are fleeing the sinking ship. Interesting to note, who was I reading? I'm trying to remember who I was. It wasn't Dreher. It might have been Jeff Childers. Interesting to note that the Israelis have actually been planning for this and knew that it was ultimately going to happen. and put people in place to try and stop it from happening. Here is a headline that we have today, and something, it's in the pile of prep, actually. Barry Weiss to lead CBS News as part of major Paramount Skydance shakeup, sources say. Now, people are going to say, what does that have to do with the price of soybeans on the Chinese open market ticker? The piece that I was reading yesterday, and it will come back to me where I saw it at, was detailing how the Netanyahu Likud Israelites have known that the American fascination with Zionism was going to fade, and that they were going to lose their stranglehold on American media. So what did they do? They put people in position to buy the media companies. People who are committed to the Zionist Israel hegemon projects. Matter of fact, Maggie, I don't know if you have it on your cut sheet, but it is on my Twitter. I guarantee you can find it. Grab the clip from Tucker Carlson. It's on my Twitter. Did I link to both of them? There's two that he has about this very subject, because I think that they are they will apply to the subject. Larry Ellison's son. Everybody knows who Larry Ellison is. Larry Ellison's son has been quietly buying majority positions in several major media companies, including CBS. So what a coinky-dink that as the bloom falls off the Zionism rose, and as almost as many, especially young conservatives, begin moving away as Tucker Carlson's voice gets louder and louder on the subject, asking people do you really think that this Zionism thing and this Israeli first thing is really good for America? And if you do, can you explain how that is? As the whole thing begins to fade, as President Trump basically says last Friday, 1 week ago today, I'm not going to let him do it. I'm not going to let him do it. He's not going to annex Gaza. It's not going to happen. Enough is enough. He said enough is enough. He didn't say what enough is enough of, but I think you can guess. Plan B has been sprung into action. Paramount Skydance is poised to name Barry Weiss. Now, this is an interesting choice here, especially given how so many conservatives, or I would say fake conservatives, have taken Barry Weiss as their patron saint. She's one of us, Tickety. She left the New York Times because she wouldn't take the job, Tickety. She's as solid as a rock with us, Tickety. No, she's not. As Sean Davis and others have been pointing out, that which has always been a leftard remains a leftard and is also a Zionist. Israel first, dual citizen leftard. And you mean to tell me just as it starts to fall, you put Barry Weiss, who has no broadcast experience, she comes from the print side of the media, you put Barry Weiss in charge of CBS News. You can see what's happening here. So this is to ensure then that the pro-Israel, the pro-Zionist, that's right, follow the money, Maggie, the pro-Israel, the pro-Zionist point of view has a major seat at the table at the United States' largest news gathering organization, most people don't know that, which is CBS News. Is now going to be led up by a pro-Zionist, a pro-Israel firster in the person of Barry Weiss. The timing is not coincidental. The piece that I was just reading 2 days ago, and it'll come to me where I was reading that, and I'll share it with you. You know what? That's it, Cuzzy. Max Blumenthal. Maggie, Go to Max Blumenthal's Twitter. It's Max Blumenthal that has been reporting on this or has been writing about it. Thank you, Cuzzy. I just looked in the chat room. Max Blumenthal is where I saw the Larry Ellison's son, Chris Ellison, taking over the media. So what's going on here, folks? Well, what's going on here is that the globalists are losing. The who is the her. And the globalists don't like to lose, and the globalists don't want to lose. And so what are the globalists doing? Well, they're acting all globalist-y and stuff. And here in the U.S., they're shoring up their media positions to make sure that they can control the narrative. It's all about controlling the narrative. Now, I'm going to come back to this because I want to see, I want to go back to Max Blumenthal's pieces on Twitter that he's been posting on X about this so we can delve into it a little deeper. We'll come back to it, but I just thought that this headline was not coincidental. I don't know if you guys can see that. And that's the one about Barry Weiss. So, in other news, King Charles has signed off on, and the Anglican Church have now committed the final heresy. Yep. You know, I wonder if Pope Leo the 14th, who we had such high hopes for, who has been seen recently blessing blocks of ice, while Arnold Schwarzenegger and other pagans do something with a blue sheet at some worship the climate. Yeah, no, it was Laudate Si. As they're singing some musical out-of-tune version of Pope Francis's Laudato Si supposed encyclical. Looked pretty gay. Maggie says it looked pretty gay. No gay speeches, Kyle. There are a lot of gay speeches there. As that is happening, and as people go like, what in the wide world of sports is now going on with Pope Leo the 14th and the Catholic Church, and they just a string of just unfortunate, just depressing events. You know, you can't bless. I mean, you can make holy water out of it, I guess. Was he making holy ice? You can't make holy ice without salt. You have to have exercise salt to make holy water. But now that's my understanding of it. Perhaps I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure good holy water, properly made and blessed, has consecrated, blessed exercise salt in it. Which is why, if you have a holy water fountain or fount, as we do at the church household, right by the door, over the course of time, and people sticking their fingers in it and signing themselves, a little bit of the holy water gets splashed out, just in little tiny drops, and gets on the wall. Over time, a couple of years, you start to see salt crystallizing on the wall. As it drips down, it turns solid and crystallizes. So he didn't. I didn't see any exercise salt in any event. People are watching this and going like, "Oh, come on! I mean, this is the worst thing since the Pachamama. This might be worse than the Pachamama." While this is going on, King Charles has blessed, if you will, the appointment of Dame Sarah Mullally as the Archbishop of Canterbury. Now, I don't know how people, I don't know how much people know about Canterbury. Let's just, 2 quick points on Canterbury. There's at least 2 canonized saints that were Archbishop of Canterbury. That's St. Augustine, Archbishop of Canterbury, St. Thomas Becket, Archbishop of Canterbury. A position that was esteemed and was one of the highest positions, highest esteemed positions in all of Christendom. Was relied upon by the English people. They looked to Canterbury, to the Archbishop of Canterbury, as a holy leader until, of course, they apostatized in the 16th century with Henry VIII, and then the wheels came off the whole thing. But Canterbury is significant. You know, it's an interesting thing, is it not, that if I say Archbishop of Canterbury, even to our evangelical and Protestant denomination friends, they know what I'm talking about. If I probably say Becket, most know who I'm talking about. And now the final nail is in the coffin of the Anglican heresy, which is the apostolic line of succession has now been completely broken. This is a mockery. As a matter of fact, it's such a horrid thing that you almost you would expect, if we had a Holy Father, a Pope, that truly had the interest of all the Catholic faithful in his heart and the future of Catholicism, hell, the future of people that still call themselves Anglicans, he's got to call this out. You know, they claim their lineage, they claim their apostolic lineage from pre-Henry VIII times. So that would mean then that whoever and I don't know who it was it Wolsey? I forget who the Archbishop of Canterbury was at the time of Henry. I think it was Cardinal Wolsey. Maybe, no, not Wolsey. I should know this. I wrote a book about it. I should know it. In any event, from there, you know, the apostolic line of succession, for those of you that are Protestants or agnostics or whatever and don't know, one of the things that distinguishes the Catholic Church and the Eastern rites, the Eastern Church, from all of the other, certainly the post-Protestant revolt sects, is that, let's just say Father Glad, for example. Father Glad, if he wanted to, could make a family tree, if you will, of who ordained him as priest, and then, then who ordained the guy that ordained Father Glad, and then you get the family tree. Father Glad, our beloved Father Glad, can trace his ordination back to an apostle. That's a fact. Every Catholic priest in the world, every Eastern Orthodox or every Orthodox or Eastern Rite priest in the world can trace their ordination or who ordained them back to an apostle. This is a unique, beautiful thing, and it's called the Apostolic Rite of Succession, or Apostolic Line of Succession, or however it's properly said. If I'm getting the name wrong, I'm sure a pettifogger will correct me, and I'll correct the record. The Anglicans claim this as well. Now, I don't know if that claim's valid. I haven't really looked into it because it doesn't matter to my salvation. But I believe that the Anglicans claim that their priests are in the apostolic line of succession. She can't be in the apostolic line of succession. She can't be. It is a male office only. So if the Church of England now, the Anglican Church, is now claiming that the king, yeah, it's a woman, Will, no, that is a dude. That is a chick. That's not a dude. Looks like a dude, but it's a woman. And is now claiming that just because he can, and we have to be all politically and liturgically correct, that we have to start ordaining women now. That breaks the line. It's over. Your church is now in complete and total formal heresy. Now, I'm sure there are many that say it already was in complete and total formal heresy. Okay, well, this then doubles down and goes like, yeah, we are in complete and total heresy now, and we're going to break the apostolic line. What's the point, then, of the Anglican Church? It certainly doesn't serve God. This is just, it's an absolute tragedy. We'll be back.
I need something to listen to challenge my faith and tickle my not-so-nice funny bone.
Well, you won't hear anything about Mondays coming or cheeseburgers in paradise, but you will hear the most brutally honest Catholic-inspired commentary on Parrot Talk. Weekdays.
Oh, this boats, beaches, bars, and ballads fan sees what you did there.
Weekdays at 2 Central on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talking podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Listen up, Red, White, and Dude Nation fans. Now, if you wear one new t-shirt this spring, then make sure you pour yourself into a new Mike Church Show neon microphone t-shirt. Printed on beautiful 100% soft cotton tees, the logo's so cool. It's even more cool than burning unburdened by what has been stickers. Available in sizes medium through Alvin Bragg sized 3X. Be the best dressed dude at your cigar shop or the coolest dressed gal at Junior's soccer match. Order today at shop.mikechurch.com. Hello, Crusaders. I'm Janet Huxley at the Crusade Channel News Desk with your Crusade Crucials for Friday, October 3rd, 2025. This report brought to you by Mike Church's Beast and Butt Rub, a rub that's won championships and will help make you a champ in your kitchen or backyard. Check out Mike's recipes and pick up a bottle or 6 today at shop.mikechurch.com. In the market report, the Dow is up again 0.17% and the S&P 0.06%. NASDAQ climbed 0.39%. Today in National Day calendar news is the day in 1789 that President Washington proclaimed Thursday, November 26, 1789, as the first Thanksgiving Day. Then in 1863, President Lincoln declared the last Thursday in November as Thanksgiving Day. It's also National Body Language Day and Techies Day, National Manufacturing Day, and National Boyfriend Day. Our quote of the day, nothing great is ever achieved without enduring much, St. Catherine of Siena. And our saint of the day, the little flower of Jesus, a well-known nun who passed away of TB, and whose autobiography, The Story of a Soul, is read and loved throughout the world. I want to spend my heaven doing good on earth, she wrote shortly before she died. St. Therese of Lisieux. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
It's the I Love Lee Show, starring Lee, with special guest Jim.
Come on, dude, pick up.
Jim's Bait Shop.
Very boomer funny of you.
Yeah, I thought so too. What's up?
What was the name of the live talk radio thingy? You know, that show with the holy guy you were telling me about?
Talk radio, holy guy. I'm sure I have no idea.
Yeah, the guy's name rhymed with Lurch. He was talking about being holy or something.
Talking about... Oh, you mean Mike Church. He's not trying to be holy.
Yeah, he's also not trying to fake being holy. Anyway, I just came from the Lila Rose 2-for-1 podcast promotion, and I didn't make a dent in one, much less get 2, and I need something cool to listen to on the 6-hour drive I have coming up.
Well, the KingDude's got you covered there.
So, you got the deets?
No, but my dad had shingles.
Oh, you were such a boomer! Deets, as in details, as in where and when do I find this guy?
I'm not a boomer, and his podcast is hiding in plain sight at this thing called a website at crusadechannel.com.
Why can't he just have a QR code?
Yeah. Want me to come over there and type that in for you, Zoomer?
The Crusade Channel 4.0, one of life's simple pleasures.
Yeah, like hearing a tree beginning its journey to the paper mill.
Like paper over plastic, some things like the Crusade Channel.
And good old-fashioned live talk radio.
Never go out of style at crusadechannel.com.
Speaking of out of style, Jim, we need to talk about your hair.
What's the matter with my hair?
The 80s hair metal band's called And They Want Their Style Back.
message get to you?
It's a big subject today. Rod Dreher just tweeted out, probably saw that I did. So the new Archbishop of Canterbury is a woman. No, that's not the Archbishop of Canterbury. I don't know what that creature is, but it's not the Archbishop of Canterbury because it can't be an archbishop. So let's just say that there is an archwench of Canterbury. How about archwench? I like that. I'm going with archwench. So the new Archwench of Canterbury is a woman. I wonder what this means for any trads left in the Church of England. Well, that means that there can't be any trads left. Why would there be trads in the Church of England? Asking for a friend. What about for the wider Anglican communion? Will the Nigerians, for example, break communion? Why... You know, I didn't even know that there were Nigerian Anglicans. You know, almost all of the Anglicans in the United States, I do know this, thanks to Pope Benedict XVI, and I think they go with the Ordinariate. Most of the Anglicans that were left or that were here in the U.S. converted and became Catholics. As a matter of fact, there was a very large community, well, I say very large, there was a community of Anglicans in Houston, or in the Houston, Texas area. And when the Ordinariate came around, which Benedict basically said, well, you know, if you're an Anglican priest, you can become a Catholic one if you go through this ritual or this rite. There was a mass called the Mass of the Ordinariate. I don't know enough about it to talk about it, and somebody's going to get, you're correct. I'm pettifogging you. But I do know that Our Lady of Walsingham in Houston was the outpost church for those Anglicans, and it's a Catholic church now, so I do know that. Folks, I can't express how large of an abomination this is. And just how wretched of a heretical age in which we live. I'm not one to give over to the doom and gloom of most tradies, because quite frankly, it's just depressing and it makes one's life miserable. And I was quite joyful playing the sorrowful mysteries while walking this morning with Mary as my companion. So I don't, and I did this for a little while, but I'm not doing it anymore. But I'll wade into it for just a moment. That this confluence of these events, this is Baphomet, Bagel, and the boys. Is this... Are the fish out of the water? Are they flopping on the deck? Is this the last hurrah? Is this we got you now, Christian boy? We got you now, trad Catholic boy or girl? You thought you had some hope in your Leo? Well, guess what? He's one of us, or he's influenced by us. You thought you had that maybe King Charles was going to change his mind and was going to restore the communion between the English and Rome and bring an end to the heresy of Anglicanism. Nope, not going to happen. We're going to triple down on it, and now we're going to break the apostolic line into a female line. You know. It makes you almost want to go like, click. I'm just going to turn the news off and come back in 5 years. I'll see you guys later. Maybe this whole moat and cope thing maybe there's something to it. And I'm just curious. Let me just see, just for the sake of argument. Yeah, it's just like, Maggie, it's just as you said, or as I said, and then you confirmed. This was the doing of King Charles. King Charles did this. He didn't go along with it. He did it. The Archbishop of Canterbury is chosen by the monarch, is chosen by the king. So, Doth Fender in the chat room, there should be 138 people in the chat room this morning with all of these great topics that are going on at crusadechannel.com/chat. But for the 38 kind, tender, erudite souls that are there, Doth Fender says next thing you know, they'll have a Muslim archbishop. Hey, do not put that past them. Do not put do not put the Anglican past throwing the prayer mat down and facing Mecca and doing the call for prayers in downtown. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm glad that I checked this out. This is Maggie, who is Reverend Dr. Rob Monroe. A statement on the nomination of the 106th Archbishop of Canterbury. I would like, on behalf of the Ebbs Fleet Network, to offer our congratulations to the Bishop of London, Sarah Mullally, on her nomination to be the next Archbishop of Canterbury. This is the Bishop of Ebbs Fleet. So I guess this means then that the rest of the Anglican priesthood, or whatever remains of it, is all down with having the apostolic line go chick. I thought it may be okay, James Cuby tells Rod Rare this is a trad bishop. If that's a trad, I'm not going to call. I refuse. I won't call it. She is the archwenchess. That's all she is the archwenchess of Canterbury. You know, while we're on the subject, I think this is interesting. The state of Virginia, the Old Dominion, is in the midst of a race to determine who is going to be elected the next governor. You mean to tell me there is not a single dude in the state of Virginia that was worthy of being governor, that it comes down to two cackling hens? Now, who are I've been keeping up with it. Searle's her name, right? I think she's the lieutenant governor. Is Republican candidate, the leftard that is the Democrat candidate, is cut out of the usual cloth. She is 100% chick legislator, pro-tranny, pro-homo, pro-rainbow, pro-illegal alien, everything that you and I are against, she's for. But apparently this is going to come down to the wire, and this is a catfight between two women to become the next governor of Virginia. Well, so the vote's in a month, so we have a little bit of time to catch up with. Maggie asked the question in the chat room. Still not at 138, by the way. Haven't we reached peak girl boss yet? Well, no, apparently we haven't. Other news that we have here today. So, yeah, Winsome Sears. I said Searles, Sears. I haven't covered a lot of Virginia politics, and certainly not the lieutenant governor. Winsome Sears versus Abigail Spanberger. I know that Spanberger is the author of a tranny bill, a bathroom tranny bill. Spanberger would then, as governor, sign any bill or make an executive order to put boys into all girls' bathrooms. These people are sick. They're really sick.
She was leading until Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Okay, so Spanberger was leading until the assassination of Charlie Kirk. There's also there's governor's race in New Jersey, where the Republican guy was getting beat by 15 points. He's now only getting beat by 7. Some polls have him within the margin of error. Is there a pendulum swinging here? Well, I can tell you, because we've been covering this for decades now, and I can tell you that what all of this ultimately comes down to is one factor, and that is whether or not young men turn out in higher numbers than abortion, tranny, homo, coddling women of the same age turn out. And the young men have to turn out in such higher numbers, because if they don't, then it is the suburban left-tard female vote that carries the day in a state like Virginia. If you cannot, and look, a current governor of Glenn Youngkin, the current governor of Virginia, he overcame that by acknowledging that, trying to do all that he could do to win some of that suburban whacked out of their gourd 19th Amendment should be repealed vote, but tripling and quadrupling his effort for the young male vote, which he won. Be interesting to see what Turning Point USA does in Virginia and what it does in New Jersey, because you have two very high-profile races here. And by the way, the Democrat candidate in New Jersey is a woman. Is another pro-abort, pro-tranny, pro-homo. And again, they just stamp. It's a cookie cutter. They just crank them out. Louise in the chat room says that Spanberger is evil. What? It's a female Democrat, Spanberger. Of course she's evil. All you have to do is say female Democrat equals evil. Did you have the Tucker Carlson? Okay, well, that's fine. We can start with one. We don't need both of them. They both pretty much say the same thing. This is the clip that we were talking about earlier here when I was talking about Barry Weiss taking over CBS News, and that she has no news, to my knowledge, no television newsroom experience here. But what is happening here is that pro-Israel firster Zionists are placing people, they're basically buying influence at major media entities because they know that they have lost the new media. They've lost it. Here's Tucker Carlson talking about this very subject. Brother Andre Marie retweeted this out. There's a bunch of people that has a couple million views on it. And that means there's a couple of million people now that either now know or now more fully know what we're talking about here, about the actual Israel mentioned in the New Testament, and what the game that is being played by the Israel firsters and the Zionists.
And the last thing that I think we need to do to restore balance between the relationship between the United States and Israel, and to restore some sanity to the public conversation on this topic, is to get our theology right. And this is not a message aimed at Israelis or Jews. This is a message aimed at Christians, who are the largest group of Israel supporters in the United States. And their view of Israel is colored not just by sentimental attachment, which is fine, or trips to Israel, great, no problem, but by a Christian heresy, the oldest of the Christian heresies, which is that God somehow prefers some people based on their DNA. And of course, the whole point of Christianity is that that is no longer true, that there is no chosen people. The chosen people are people who choose Jesus. That is the Christian message right there. It's not an anti-Semitic message, by the way. It's the Christian message. It's the core Christian message. And yet there are many, many self-described representatives of the Christian faith, the world's largest, who are daily sending a different message. And we should be very clear. Whatever this is, it's not Christianity, it is heresy. And among the many examples we could pick we're going to go, because we couldn't control ourselves, with Lindsey Graham. Watch.
To people in my party, I'm tired of this crap. Israel is our friend. They're the most reliable friend we have in the Mideast. They're a democracy, surrounded by people who would cut their throats if they could. This is not a hard choice if you're an American. It's not a hard choice if you're a Christian. A word of warning. If America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us.
Oh, please.
God will kill you if you
please.
don't support Bibi Netanyahu. That's what he's saying. And there are cheers, unfortunately, cheers when he said that God will kill you. He will pull the plug on you like a quadriplegic in intensive care. You're going to flatline unless you support the secular abortion-on-demand government of Israel. That's the Christian perspective, really. That God loves some people more because of their DNA, that is not the Christian message. That's the opposite of the Christian message. The Christian message is universal. That's the whole point of it. The chosen people in Christianity are those who choose Jesus. The entire New Testament is that story. And anyone who says otherwise has not read it or is lying. God does not prefer you because of your DNA or anyone else because of their DNA, period. So the fact that people can stand up in the United States in 2025 and say something like that, and by the way, not even make the case, just invoke the power of God as a weapon. He will kill you. He'll pull the plug on your country.
Pull the plug on
unless you go along with this. We need more war. Listen to yourself. And it's not just Lindsey Graham. It's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. It's a lot of people, some of whom are very nice people. People have dinner with them. They seem perfectly normal. But this is a heresy, and it's deranged. And you know it's deranged because it is a justification for killing the innocent. And in Christianity, if there's one thing that's crystal clear, it's that Christians cannot abide the killing of the innocent. People who have done nothing wrong cannot be killed. That's a sin. You are not allowed to do that, period. And if you find anyone leveraging the message of Jesus to justify the killing of innocents, that person is committing heresy.
So, now, the fact that Tucker Carlson, an Episcopalian, is using the term heresy, I would expect that there are going to be some good Catholics that are going to reach out to him and go, so when you say heresy, well, then what is the heresy? Well, the heresy is the heresy, what he's talking about is the heresy of Zionism. Some may say it's a heresy of Americanism. It may even be the heresy at some level of indifferentism. Probably not so much. But so what heresy is it? It is the heresy that what is referred to in the New Testament and what our Lord refers to when he speaks of and talks about the new Israel, and what St. Paul refers to is the church that is founded by Jesus and the mystical body of it, which is the Catholic Church. That's the new Israel. And what they have done, and look, I would imagine if you're on X.com and you follow the usual suspects, like for example, did you know days before or weeks before Charlie Kirk was murdered, did you know that supposed arch-conservative MAGA savior Laura Loomer, had thrown Charlie under the bus? Look it up. As a matter of fact, you could see it on Max Blumenthal's Twitter, saying that there's no doubt in my mind that anyone that thinks that this guy is pro-MAGA and pro-America can leave that thought today. You're wrong. And we basically need to excommunicate Charlie Kirk. Again, I was just scrolling through Max Blumenthal's Twitter during the timeout, just now looking at it, and I'll go through it more during the next one. One of the nuggets that I came across was the Laura Loomer. Tucker Carlson has also been mentioning these conservative influencers. Yesterday, Arthur Bloom and I talked about the $7,000 fee. There it is. That's exactly the one I was looking for. Maggie, that's it. I don't ever want to hear Charlie Kirk claim he is pro-Trump ever again. After this weekend, I'd say he revealed himself as a political opportunist, and I have had a front row seat to witness the mental gymnastics these last 10 years. Lately, Charlie has decided to behave like a charlatan, claiming to be pro-Trump one day while he stabs Trump in the back the next. When did he stab Trump in the back?
Never.
TPUSA was only able to try thanks to the generosity of President Trump. Not true. I'd say it's the other way around. Trump was able to thrive because of the generosity and the hard work of Charlie and those tens of thousands, armies of young people that would show up at those talks that he would give and were out there registering voters. Some of them led by or were in cahoots with Scott Pressler, for example. On the one-year anniversary of the assassination attempt on Trump's life, Charlie hosted, and this was the thing. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to go looking for an expert to talk about this because I was there. I actually heard it. I saw it on the monitor right in front of me because I was at TPUSA SAS, Student Action Summit. I saw this debate with Dave Smith and Rob Schneider. I didn't think it was a very good debate. So, as a matter of fact, I thought it was terrible. I thought it was awful. Matty P was there. Matty P, what did you think? I think Matty P thought it was awful, too. Charlie hosted a comic Dave Smith at TPUSA's SAS conference, where Dave Smith was able to speak to a bunch of conservative youths at an organization that claims to be pro-Trump. Actually, there was a pro-Zionist, again, Rob Schneider, and there was another guy. It wasn't just Rob Schneider. It was 2 against 1, basically, and comic Dave Smith were talking about Zionism. I didn't think that Dave Smith's... look, he was just basically reciting libertarian theology. And let me back up. Anti-war libertarian theology. He knew nothing about the actual source or who or what the actual New Israel is. He knew nothing and said nothing about any of the spiritual implications of claiming that, as Tucker was just saying, if you don't go along with Netanyahu, Likud's party, and the people that have been chosen based on their DNA, then God's going to Sodom and Gomorrah smite you.
The Crusade Channel, your talk podcast and Fiorella Files station.
Fiorella is the literary savage who skips sensitivity training. She is the librarian who reads and reviews books so you don't have to.
Hello and welcome to the Fiorella Files. On my show, I will be introducing you to books, classic and contemporary, that you must read, should enjoy reading, or should not touch with an 11-foot barge pole.
10 to 11 a.m. Central, every Monday on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Have you ever dreamed of being like Brian Kay or Midder Monday and being a free Farm Friday star? But you know you have no shot at it because you can't tell the difference between a U and a Y-O-U. Well, lucky for you, we have an entire bookstore filled with the books you need to become so passionate for farming, you'll soon be wearing a Brian Kay Calls Me for Advice t-shirt. So learn to grow by growing your library with books by shopping at shop.mikechurch.com.
Once in your life, you find her, someone who turns your heart around, and next thing you know, you're closing down the town. Wake up and it's still with you, even though you left your way across town. Wondering to yourself, hey, what have I found? When you get gone.
not believe it, but Bram Stoker's Dracula may be a work of non-fiction.
What? That's scarier than getting stuck in an elevator with Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, good grief. Really? Come on, I'm trying to be serious here. Okay. Hear it and other amazing tales on Turley's Believe It or Else, 10 to 11 a.m. Central, every Tuesday on the Crusade Channel. Our app and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Hey, it's the KingDude with another free lesson in Stuff You Really Don't Need to Know. Harvest was Great Britain's name for the season that follows summer, until autumn began to displace it at the end of the 16th century. But English immigrants to America preferred fall to autumn. And did you know that fall is caused by the sun setting below the equator in the northern hemisphere sky, also known as the equinox, which continues south to the winter solstice. Here's another seasonal fact for you. The flag of the Sacred Heart of Jesus is also known as the Carillon de Sacré-Cœur, or the original flag of Quebec. And did you know that our founders Trading Post is the exclusive maker and distributor of this one-of-a-kind, full-size, beautiful flag? Order a Sacred Heart flag right now and take $5 off, and I'll throw in a matching Sacred Heart flag bumper sticker for free. You know, don't cost nothing. Hurry, fall is here, and flag flying season in the north is limited. To order, go to mikechurch.com/flag or call us at 844-527-8723. The Carillon de Sacré-Cœur flag will beautify any indoor or outdoor space it flies in, but supplies are limited. So order today at mikechurch.com/flag or call us 844-527-8723. The Crusade Channel and the Slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Mary Joseph with your Saint of the Day. Today is October 3rd, the feast of Saint Therese of Lisieux, who died in 1897. This beautiful little girl of the 19th century was called Saint Therese of the Child Jesus and of the Holy Face. She is now one of the best known saints in the whole world. She became a Carmelite nun when she was 15 years old and died of consumption when she was only 24. In 9 short years as a nun, she shed the luster of her love so that all might know it by her prayers, her works, and her simple and innocent writing. Her prayers were especially for priests and the foreign missions. She has been united with St. Francis Xavier and made one of the great patrons of all missionary work done by Catholic priests. Her mother died when she was 4. Her father died when she was 21. She was the youngest of 9 children. 4 of them died in infancy, and the 5 remaining ones became nuns, 4 Carmelites and 1 Visitantin. Saint Therese had a great admiration for Saint Cecilia, whom she called the White Dove of Rome. Saint Therese called herself the Little Flower of Jesus, and by that name she is known everywhere. Her great devotions were to the Blessed Sacrament and Our Lady, who once appeared to her in a grave sickness. Even when daily communion was not in practice, a holy priest, sensing her love of the Blessed Sacrament, for a time gave her communion every day. It is in no small way due to Saint Therese of Lisieux that daily communion was restored by Saint Pius X, the Holy Pope who loved the little flower so much. She was also made a Doctor of the Church in 1997 on October 19th by Pope John Paul II. Thank you so much for joining us for this brief summary of today's saint. Tomorrow's saint is Saint Francis of Assisi. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, head to crusadechannel.com/saints. You can learn more about our sisters and the building of our convent by visiting stphilomenaconvent.org. I'm Sister Mary Joseph, and until next time, may God bless and Mary keep you.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Capuchin Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Capuchin Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com. Hey, Lee, You know, we've known each other for a bit now. I just wonder, what do you really love to do?
I love posting civilization-saving threads on X.com, but I get so tired of outrage porn scrolling my medulla has gone oblong blanca.
Well, I know just the thing. Pour an iced capuchin holy roast coffee, put your earbuds in, and catch 2 hours of suspense, the greatest of all mystery, horror, and whodunit classic radio serials.
Perfect. While you were talking, I completely forgot who Jack Posobiec was.
Catch all 900-plus episodes of Suspense every weekday from noon to 2 p.m. East on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on CrusadeChannel.com. Live talk and classic radio.
The way it should be.
Back in the 90s, there was this thing called the cigar boom, where everyone was buying and smoking handmade cigars. But here's the thing. The popular cigars then were the best-made cigars, like Fuente, Joya de Monterrey, and Avo. Over the next 10 years, craftsmanship was replaced by gimmick and slick packaging, and that's when I decided to get in the business and launched El Rey Dude Corona cigars. 20 years later, I launched Mancipio Maria cigars with that same principle in mind. Make a great handmade cigar, and that's exactly what we do in 4 sizes. I invite you to try a 4-pack sampler of my Mancipio Maria cigars and taste them for yourself in smooth, natural, or bold Maduro wrappers. And to sweeten the deal, I've discounted them 25% for a limited time. And as always, we include a personal humidifier with every order. To order, go to shop.mikechurch.com. Order $50 or more, and shipping is on me. Try my Mancipio Maria cigars today at shop.mikechurch.com.
It's the WWE and the UFC for live talk radio Thursday Night Throwdown, hosted by you. Win a seat at the table, win the throwdown, and then you pick next week's topic.
Now that's real live talk radio exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Radio, the way it should be.
Hey guys, you got a minute?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
It's about my dad. He wants to have a sex change operation.
Whoa, I knew he was gay. I didn't think he was that gay.
No, Peter, he's not gay. He's a woman stuck in a man's body.
Yeah, gay.
It's totally different.
Sounds the same.
Well, it's not.
Okay, so he wants to be a woman so he can be a lesbian?
No, he'd date men.
Gay.
Yeah, gay.
Okay, this is not the help I came over here for.
Well, look, let's just all agree that he's odd, huh?
He has an appointment Friday with Dr. Hartman to have the procedure, and he wants me to go with him. I don't know if I can handle that.
Well, I'm sure your friend Peter would be happy to come along for moral support.
All right, but look, here's the deal. Anything he lops off, we get to bring home for Brian.
That's very green of you, Peter.
Why you had to hide away for so long? Where did we go wrong? Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
Groot, don't eat that!
You know, I have to tell you people, I must confess, it really, really makes me very emotional to see in our Crusader Stadium chat room how many of you just love hearing this song.
Mr. Blue Sky's up there waiting, and today is the day we've waited for.
Mr. Blue Sky,
please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Hey there, Mr. Blue, it's a place to be with you. Look around, see what you do. Everybody smile.
You know, you can see in the chat room at CrusadeChannel.com. You can see the Groot, the baby Groot memes coming out. Like when we used to do the Bee Gees super medley, you'd have all the dancing memes, but now for Mr. Blue Sky, you just have all of the dancing Groot memes because in, was it the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie? I think it was the second one because Baby Groot, it was number 2, when the Guardians are fighting the super bad guys, and Zoe Saldana tells little baby Groot, because he's little Groot now, because Big Groot got killed in the first one, so he left a little root.
He's adolescent Groot.
Yeah, he's a what?
He's an adolescent.
He's an adolescent Groot, that's right. Because he has a Game Boy. Right, he's always playing with his Game Boy. And Zoe Saldana tells him, now, Groot, stay right here. And, of course, him being a teenager, he can't stay right there. You can see it right there. It's such an endearing little piece of movie history. That scene where they put this together, where you could see Pratt's getting kicked, right? He's getting the crap beat out of him, and Groot's just dancing away to Mr. Blue Sky in the foreground there. Is there audio? Is there audio for that? You should turn the audio up if you're going to play it.
Groot, get out of the way! You're gonna get hurt!
Groot, get out of the way! You're going to get hurt! It's just... Groot, get out of the way! You're going to get hurt! I think that it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's cute! It's cute! It is very cute to see so many of you get so excited about it. That's a great thing to be excited about blue skies. You know, who was it that we were listening to in one of the sermons? It's that unnamed priest that we play so often on Sermon Sunday, and he was talking about blue skies. Remember when you say, you know, human, your eyes are naturally kind of programmed, or it's been revealed to you that when you look skyward and you see blue, that's heaven. You know, all the words, this is very interesting here. It's Free Phone Friday. I can talk about whatever the hell I want. It's my show.
True story.
The word heaven, that's English. Heavens, look up to the heavens. In Latin, it's cielo. And you have, you know, the Our Father, if you know the Pater Noster, in Latin, Pater Noster, quies in cielo, in the sky, in heaven. It's also ciel, C-I-E-L, ciel. In French, it's ciel, and that means sky. So, and heaven or the heavens. So when the priest's point is that when you look skyward and there's no clouds, your eye connects blue sky with beauty, with peace, with goodness, with grace, with good things. So it would only be natural then that a song called Mr. Blue Sky would be popular among people that don't want to get bowled over by the daily doom and gloom that we're surrounded by. By the way, fantastic point in the chat room earlier at crusadechannel.com/chat just a few moments ago about Tucker Carlson and that clip of him talking about the heresy, the American heresy, or of Americanism or Zionism, and that it's a heresy. And who was it that said that his career is over? Scott Adams, right? The cartoonist. Of course, Scott's got pancreatic cancer. Why does he care? Because he said, did you put his comment in there? Oh, there it is. Okay. Scott Adams said, I can't see that, but could you put it in the chat room is what I'm... Oh, it is.
You got to scroll up past all the group names.
I got to go up past all the Groots. Okay, hold on. I'm going. Oh, there it is. Okay. As a rule, I don't criticize Israel because that would be a career death wish. as literally everyone knows. I don't expect Tucker to survive this unscathed career-wise, which will prove his point. Of course, the point is, Tucker Carlson's 4 charges changes Americans need to make in order to restore balance to our relationship with Israel. You know, I was on Max Blumenthal's feed just now. If you go to Max Blumenthal's Twitter feed, you can see there's a video of a 38-story residential apartment building in Gaza. Dude is standing there filming it. You hear the planes fly overhead. You see the explosions, and then you see the building topple to the ground, and then you hear Israelis cheer. This is an apartment building. Well, I suppose there was a Hamas hiding somewhere in there. Oh, that's it right there. Play it. Watch this. So this is okay, they've already bombed the snot out of it. I pray God there's no one living in there. And out of nowhere, some IDF will come and boom, there's the missile at the base of it. And then that apartment building is gone in a cloud of dust, and the Israelis cheer. This is a residential tower. In other words, people lived there. But I'm sure there was a Hamas. And if there was a Hamas, then, hey, all bets are off. Everything's justified. Kind. And there's another one, another apartment building that just got blown to kingdom come, that is in Gaza, because we must not leave any place for this Palestinian vermin to live. And this is what the world, what we have been telling the world, and we have been broadcasting since the invasion after the October 7th, the October 7th massacre that happened, and then the response to it, which I don't know how anyone that would be in their right mind could say that this is proportionate. Look, here's another news crew walking. You're seeing that. I'm in split screen right now. You're seeing that walking through what was formerly Gaza. And there's nothing left of it. It's rubble. It's absolute rubble. Well, this is what the world is now seeing, because video and social media have made it possible. This is the genie that the Israelis are trying to put back into the box, or the toothpaste they're trying to cram back into the tube. That they don't seem to be able to make to make the connection, and I don't think that they should. So this is an interesting thing, though. Look, I have 20,741 followers, whatever the number is on X. Tucker Carlson has 18 million or whatever the number is. Tucker goes on there and puts a video out, he gets 5 million views. I put one out, he gets 500 views if I'm lucky. I have no say-so and no voice. No one gives a rat's furry behind what I think about anything. That doesn't mean that what you hear coming out of your speakers is not worthy of you hearing it, or that it doesn't measure up to the high standards of Tucker's or of the 4 guys that have been hired now to replace Charlie. I mean, come on. Dude, this is not talk radio. What I'm doing right now is talk radio. What they're doing is, and look, I understand that I guess Erica Kirk doesn't want that show to go away. I completely get it. Could have asked the dude. Could have asked me. I could fill that shoe. You're a boss, you couldn't fill Charlie. Oh, I'm pretty sure that I could. Pretty sure that I could. And it's not a knock on Charlie, but I think that we could swim in the same water successfully together. But Tucker has his own media now, Tucker Carlson Media. What do you think is going to now happen? And I don't know. I assume that he was pulling down millions of dollars a year from Fox. I would also assume that there were probably some big money people that went, hey, man, if you want to go out on your own, just tell us what you need. You know, we'll invest in the company, because there is a paywall there at Tucker Carlson. I think it's Tucker Carlson Media or TCM Media, whatever it is, .com. when he starts making these videos, and he's been rumbling and rattling the saber now, or should I say, unrattling the saber, for quite some time, going all the way back to the TPUSA now infamous speech here. These people, this is a 100+ year long project to put Israel at the forefront of American politics. Note that Israel chose American evangelicals, put a target on their back, and said, if we can convince them that we are the New Testament's new Israel and that they have to defend us because we are God's chosen people by DNA, if we can convince them of this, first of all, it's a ridiculous claim, but if we can convince them of this, then we will have the allegiance and we will have a seat at the table of the U.S. government. Many people think that they don't just have a seat at the table, that they're at the head of the table and that they're running it. I think that at some level or some weeks ago, I think that Israel crossed the line with Trump. Trump is still Trump. Trump still has an ego. Trump still likes things to go his way. Still likes to say, no, I'm in charge. You're not. I'm in charge. No. Bibi, shut down, Israel. I'm talking. You don't have a... kind of like what he did with Zelensky. I wish he would have followed through on that. But I think at some point in recent memory, President Trump had enough of Netanyahu running around the world saying the most obnoxious, just inhuman, obnoxious, despicable things, and believing that he could just keep doing that, and that President Trump and the entirety of the Trump administration were just going to fall in line and say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for getting me elected. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think that a line was crossed and that Trump finally went, that's it. That's it. Can't do it anymore. That's it. No more. It's got you done too much. And he said this in the clip that Tucker played. Okay, there's two clips on Tucker. Well, there's another one that's 3 minutes and 1 second long where he plays Trump, and he says, I can tell you that President Trump has had enough. And if you watch this clip, you will see when the reporter asked Trump 2 weeks ago, or last Friday, what about the annexation of Gaza? And Trump said, no, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to let it happen. They've done enough. It's enough. It's too much. They've already done. What did he say? They've already gone too far. It's enough. That's not code for anything. That is Donald Trump saying, I'm finished with this guy. He doesn't run things over here anymore. I do. Now, I don't pretend to know what that means, and I hope it means ultimately that maybe because they're trying to negotiate some sort of peace treaty. By the way, the same Max Blumenthal is saying this morning that one of the conditions that has been put on the so-called peace deal is that the Iranians have to sign some sort of letter of surrender to the Israelis, which everyone knows is not going to happen. The Iranians are going to go like, dude, you tried to bomb us back into the Stone Ages. You boasted and bragged that you bunker busted our nuclear facilities. You took out our only functioning nuclear reactor. You've been making war on us on the high seas, and you want us to surrender? No, that's not going to happen. By the way, one of my sources, my special ops sources, tells me that what Maggie O'Connell just posted in the chat room is true. That's going to happen.
Just because there were 5 other people that were talking about it. They say war is imminent.
Okay, so, well, I will tell you what the source told me. Hold on. 2 days ago, Wednesday. Things may explode in the Middle East as soon as tonight. I'm seeing very ominous indicators of what looks like an imminent attack on Iran. And then there's more on that, and then you see the Emerald Robinson tweet. We have warplanes over Venezuela, submarines and warships off the coast. The war will start very soon. Of course, the other day we heard all about being at war with, and Buckshot's not very happy about any of this. Being at war with drug cartels. But a war, an actual shooting war with the Venezuelans, first of all, you can't do that. Now, if you're just claiming you're taking the enemy combatants out, well, I think it's pretty good that you can do that, or pretty established that you can that you can do, but you can't do all the rest of it. Here, let's play some digital media files. Democrats want. And by the way, today is the feast of Saint Therese of Lisieux, the little flower of Jesus. I made a video out of today's Saint of the Day reading. You can find it at. I'll get it posted up on the site later today, but you can find it on myx.com and on the Crusade Channel's x.com feed. Okay. Play digital media file number 1. This is Trump with Daniel Baldwin on OAN.
It's politics, and they're doing things and asking for things that you wouldn't want, and most people that are sane wouldn't want, and patriots wouldn't want. They want illegal aliens to get taken care of with health care. And it's not, look, I have a bigger heart than they do, but it's not even that. Everybody in the world is going to enter our country and say, give us free health care, give us this, give us that. It's going to ruin all of the things that we have, all of the plans that we have. Obamacare was never any good, but it subsists. It's there. And everything will be destroyed because no country has enough money to take care of that. So they want the illegals. They refuse to get away with open borders. They want to do open borders. If they ever got in, they'll open up the borders. We have closed borders now. You only come into our country legally. But they would open up the borders in 2 minutes, and you understand it better than anybody because you've covered it so well for so long. Even though you're a young guy, you've covered it very well. They want transgender for everybody. They want men and women's sports. They haven't learned what happened in the last election. I think they forgot. And it's pretty amazing, actually. But in terms of the dollars or the money that we're talking about, they want us to take care of illegals. They want us to take care of people that can absolutely get a job. They're healthy and strong as you can be and young. And this is not what this was all about.
We keep hearing this. This almost rises to the level of, I hate using the word propaganda. This almost rises to the level of planned. Almost like it's been planned out. We can't let them get back in power because if they do, they've told us they're going to do this and they're going to do that and the other. As we have been saying very clearly, and we'll continue to say here on the Mike Church Show on the Crusade Channel, if you exist in a civilization and you call this thing a democracy, where one side literally has palpable fear that if that side loses power, that life as you know it is over, I think that system needs to be destroyed. Bingo. I'm going to say it again. Yes, secede, secede, secede. I think that system is not healthy, and I don't want to live in it. And I know all of you don't want to live in it. So why are we still talking about if they get back in power, they're going to do? Well, then, A, they can't get back in power, or B, then the system that makes their ability to destroy all of us must be destroyed. What is it that the Romans used to say? Carthage delinda est. Carthage must be destroyed. Well, Democrats, delinda est. Democrats must be destroyed then. You say you wanted that kind of violent rhetoric coming from you guys. I don't mean it like physically destroy, but yeah, no, I do mean it like physically destroyed. Yes, it needs to be destroyed if it exists as a threat against me and against you. What kind of politics is that?
9 years now, Brother Andre Marie's Reconquest has been your source for best in Catholic philosophy, history, and saints.
Well, I'm the new gal at this monastery, and Jiminy Christmas, after 4 years of auto pens, social media heresy, I could use some Catholic philosophy.
Well, call yourself a blessed girl, because new episodes debut Wednesdays at 8 Central, and there's over 475 podcasts available on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and educational radio.
The way it should be.
The Crusade Channel and the Slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Mary Joseph with your Saint of the Day. Today is October 3rd, the feast of Saint Therese of Lisieux, who died in 1897. This beautiful little girl of the 19th century was called Saint Therese of the Child Jesus and of the Holy Face. She is now one of the best known saints in the whole world. She became a Carmelite nun when she was 15 years old and died of consumption when she was only 24. In 9 short years as a nun, she shed the luster of her love so that all might know it by her prayers, her works, and her simple and innocent writing. Her prayers were especially for priests and the foreign missions. She has been united with St. Francis Xavier and made one of the great patrons of all missionary work done by Catholic priests. Her mother died when she was 4. Her father died when she was 21. She was the youngest of 9 children. 4 of them died in infancy, and the 5 remaining ones became nuns, 4 Carmelites and 1 Visitandin. Saint Therese had a great admiration for Saint Cecilia, whom she called the White Dove of Rome. Saint Therese called herself the Little Flower of Jesus, and by that name she is known everywhere. Her great devotions were to the Blessed Sacrament and Our Lady, who once appeared to her in a grave sickness. Even when daily communion was not in practice, a holy priest, sensing her love of the Blessed Sacrament, for a time gave her communion every day. It is in no small way due to Saint Therese of Lisieux that daily communion was restored by Saint Pius X, the Holy Pope who loved the little flower so much. She was also made a Doctor of the Church in 1997 on October 19th by Pope John Paul II. Thank you so much for joining us for this brief summary of today's saint. Tomorrow's saint is Saint Francis of Assisi. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, head to crusadechannel.com/saints. You can learn more about our sisters and the building of our convent by visiting stphilomenaconvent.org. I'm Sister Mary Joseph, and until next time, may God bless and Mary keep you.
Do you hear that, Maggie?
Do I hear what?
You don't hear the sound of bees buzzing about?
No, I see the result of that buzzing about and these beautiful new beeswax candles.
We sell candles now?
Not just any candles. These are handmade beeswax candles.
Well, that explains me imagining bees.
And they come in different sizes. There's a votive, a 3-day, and a 7-day size too.
Well, that should start a buzz in the store.
It better, or you'll get the buzz.
Order handmade beeswax candles today while supplies last at shop.mikechurch.com. On August 4th, the Crusade Channel will launch Crusade Channel 4.0, and you'll see why. What in the world?
Sorry, I was hanging up the new Mike Church 4.0 sign. 4.0? When did they even have a 3.0? Am I missing something here?
Buckle up, Speed Demon, because you'll soon discover why Crusade Channel 4.0 roars like the muscle car of media. Rooming past the competition with 0 emissions of boredom exclusively on crusadechannel.com.
Hey, it's the KingDude for My Pillow. Mike Lindell sent me my first set of My Pillows 14 years ago. I loved them then, and I still love that same set of original My Pillows today. True story. Now, that's a testament to the craftsmanship and quality of the My Pillow. But don't take my word for it. Go try it for yourself. Use my unique code and get huge discounts and free shipping on all orders by going to mypillow.com/KingDude. That's mypillow.com/KingDude.
I do feel, Reg, that any anti-imperialist group like ours must reflect such a divergence of interest within its power base.
Agreed. Francis? Yeah, I think Judy's point of view is very valid, Reg, provided the movement never forgets that it is the inalienable right of every man or woman to rid himself or herself. Agreed. Thank you, brother. Or sister. Where was I? I think you finished. Oh, right. Furthermore, it is the birthright of every man or woman. Why don't you shut up about women, Stan? You're putting us off.
Women have a perfect right to play a part in our movement, Reg.
Why are you always on about women, Stan?
I want to be one.
What?
I want to be a woman. From now on, I want you all to call me Loretta.
What?
It's my right as a man.
Well, why do you want to be Loretta, Stan?
I want to have babies.
You want to have babies?
It's every man's right to have babies if he wants them.
But you can't have babies.
Don't you oppress me.
I'm not oppressing you, Stan. You haven't got a womb. Where's the fetus going to gestate? You're going to keep it in a box?
Here, I've got an idea. Suppose you agree that he can't actually have babies, not having a womb, which is nobody's fault, not even the Romans, but that he can have the right to have babies.
Good idea, Judith. We shall fight the oppressors for your right to have babies, brother. Sister, sorry. What's the point? What? What's the point of fighting for his right to have babies when he can't have babies? It is symbolic of our struggle against oppression.
Symbolic of his struggle against reality.
Dark in the city, night is a wire. Steam in the subway, earth is a fire. Woman, you want me, give me a sign. And catch my breathing even closer behind. Touch with the ground, I'm on the hunt, I'm after you. Smell like a sound, I'm lost in a crowd, and I'm hungry like the wolf. Straddle the line, discord and rhyme, I'm on the hunt, I'm after you. Mouth is alive.
The fastest 3 hours in all of radio, the Mike Church Show is on. By the way, top of next hour, a special Free Farm Friday. Kent Lesnowski of the San Damiano College for the Trades is going to be my very special guest. I didn't even know this place existed. And someone made the connection. Imagine that. That was a proper use of email. For the first time this decade, I Am KingDude at ProtonMail.com was used properly by Edgar Morgan, who made the connection between Kent Lesnowski and yours truly. This is a very cool thing that is happening out there. This revival, I think, of trades and skills. If you go to San Damiano Trades or San Damiano Trades, you will see that it is our mission is to form men to recover the dignity of work, integrating it into the whole of a life ordered toward the kingdom of God and the sanctification of the world. And we'll talk to Kent all about this. Some of you have sons, and your sons are the ones that are going to benefit from this, especially those who are of work age or are coming of work age. By the way, the Crusade Radio Guild also is in the business of educating the next and training the next generation of broadcasters. In order to do that, we need people that want to be broadcasters and donations. We are now an official 501c3. So if you make tax-deductible donations and you do it specifically, you donate to causes and to entities that you believe in and that you need or you want or you utilize the deductible nature of a 501c3, well, we are that entity now. And again, I'd like to thank Michael Eisenhower for our first big major donation. Thank you, Michael. The first, we hope, of many. Because, if you have a little bit of financial backing behind you, maybe you can, since they won't let us into their little sandboxes, we can buy a little entry into them and let people know that, hey, hi, we're out here. We exist. We exist, and you should listen to us, subscribe to us, and maybe even join us. So make your donation today, crusadechannel.com/donate, 100% tax deductible. Now, if it's under $200, you don't need a receipt from me. If it is over $200 and you need a receipt, dude, I will give you one. With the letter of determination from the IRS, if you want to, so you can officially claim it, crusadechannel.com/donate. This is a breaking news story. Nick Sortor is in jail.
He is. Well, I think they're releasing him.
Okay. Nick is a citizen journalist reporter dude who actually he and I are friends on Pride Book. He actually sent me a friend request, and I went, oh, hey, Nick Sortor. Wow. So I said, yes, we haven't talked or anything, but I can instant message him now because we're buddies on Pride Book. Maybe I should ask him, hey, dude, what's going on? Maybe Maggie, you should use my Pride Book like you do all the time and send Nick a private message and go like, hey, man, what's going on? You all right, bro? You want to talk about this? Give us a call, 844-527-8723. Benny Johnson saying, DHS source just confirmed to me that ICE agents have been dispatched to the Portland local jail to see if they can take custody of independent journalist Nick Sortor. They believe his life may be in danger in the public prison population. Don't put anything past leftards. They kill babies in the womb. They lop the testicles off of teenage boys and the breasts off of teenage girls. They will kill someone like Nick Sortor.
This is a video of why he got arrested.
Okay, and this is why he was arrested?
This guy's burning a flag. He takes it from him and puts it out. That's him. Takes it, puts it out, and he got arrested for taking personal property.
He didn't take it. He just put the fire out. So, oh no, he did take it.
That's why he got arrested.
Oh, he stole a burning American flag. Now, interestingly enough, he was in Portland to cover the Antifa attacks, right, on ICE. And the Portland police are the ones that arrested him. Now, they won't arrest any of the lefties who throw Molotov cocktails and smoke bombs at the ICE agents and ransack the property every day, but they will arrest Nick Sortor. This is an example of why you don't want to live in leftard enclaves anymore. Portland, I imagine at some point in time, was probably a pretty cool city to live in. Now, what's it known for? It is now known as the hub, or one of the hubs on the West Coast of insane, illegal, anarchic activity. Why would you? Who would volunteer to raise a family in that environment? So, Antifa, people running around, whacking people upside the head with wooden boards, punching them out. Nothing happens. Take an American flag that's burning, and put the burning flag out, and you go to jail. All right, let's talk about insanity here for just a moment. Yeah, I'm sure the leaders of Europe are standing by their red bat phones going like, should I call him now? Should I call him now? Should I call him now? I need to find out what Tim Walz thinks about Trump. Someone in the leftard media should get with their buddy Tampon Tim and said, can you give us the name? Which European leader did you speak with that is supposedly horrified of what he's seen in the United States? I think that the people in Europe have their own set of Muslim-induced problems to deal with, that they're not sitting there crying into their weak tea, worried about what's happening in Portland, Oregon.
I think they're worried about the sombrero.
Yeah, they're not worried about the sombrero meme.
Trump administration will start firing workers instead of furloughing them, and do you think they might target workers in blue states?
I do. I think it goes back to this question, Tom, that it appears like they're trying to do that. The disruption is there. The willingness of the Speaker of the House to blame. I have seen Fox News even correct this issue, that trying to tell the public we're in a massive misinformation campaign. The President himself tweeting out AI videos of fake news reports on health care. This is really dangerous, and it's really hard. And I cannot express to you the concern and the absolute bafflement and fear of our European allies asking me, is this stuff really going on? So yeah, I have a feel that they do that. And again, they're going to tell you this, and like with the VA, and this is what really drives me crazy, they'll come back and tell you, oh, we're not firing anybody important. We're not going to fire doctors. No, just the people who change the linens or get the surgical instruments cleaned so they're ready to go. Those people aren't there. Or the IT, the people that allow you to schedule your appointment with the VA. There's a reason that all these people work together in agencies, and everybody's valuable in them. So yes, I do worry about that, Tom.
Yes, Europeans are saying, what do you say about the sombrero meme? The members of the World Economic Forum and all of the stakeholders in the world wants to know, is Trump going to make the meme of Klaus Schwab, the rest of the banker class? Am I going to be the subject of a sombrero meme? That's what the Europeans are worried about, whether or not they're going to be in sombrero memes. I'm one of the people that would just like to ask the question, how did someone with a track record like Tim Waltz's, which he doesn't have a track record, the man has accomplished nothing in the entirety of his adult life. He has nothing to show for it other than government. TKD, that's not fair. He was in the Army. He signed up in the Army. He made sure that he was never with his combat unit. You know, this came up during the debate, and J.D. Vance was way too diplomatic about it. But J.D. did say, well, how come you, dropped out of a leadership role weeks before your unit was called up and pressed into service in Iraq? And you being in command, you would have known that they were going to be called up. Why did you give up your command? Why did you quit? The man has ever accomplished nothing. And I agree. Only an electoral system where incompetent, inept people can be installed as puppets for the people that aren't as incompetent and inept and have all the money in the world and just need puppets like Waltz, like Tampon Tim, to carry out their agendas, basically. Is this a system that anyone would sign up for or would vote for today? I think that the answer is no. By the way, earlier, Trump's OMB director, Russ Vought, temporarily freezes $2.1 billion. How much was that again? $2.1 billion. And Chicago infrastructure projects to investigate and ensure illegal race-based DEI contracting is not taking place. I will guarantee you that illegal race-based DEI contracting is taking place. In my former career as an AM/FM radio talk show host, I can tell you I used to study this a little bit, so I know a little bit about it. There is a thing, and this is old school Democrat politics. There is a thing or an act that was called the Davis-Bacon Act. How many of you know what Davis-Bacon is? Davis-Bacon was a 1930s Roosevelt-era act that was basically put into place to ensure that the then growing in popularity and strength labor unions got either the lion's share or all federal government construction contracts. How'd they do that? Well, you had to, if you had a federally funded project, you had to have what were called, it was called prevailing wage. What's a prevailing wage? Whatever the AFL-CIO says it is. So, or whatever the Teamsters say it is, if that's who's in control of this state or this area. You have the Davis-Bacon with the Prevailing Wage Act would come into play, and the prevailing wagers were always union workers. Always. No exceptions. This is how the Democrat Party built its machine. You know, Nancy Nazi Pelosi's father was mayor of Baltimore for like 3 decades for this specific, as a result of this. You know, if you're a fan of the prank phone calling jerky boys, you know, they like to use Frank Rizzo. Well, Frank Rizzo was an actual dude. Frank Rizzo was the mayor of Philadelphia for like 3 decades or however many decades. How did that happen? Unions, federally financed construction contracts. They only went to the certain dudes and the certain unions, and that's just the way the business was done. Same deal with Mayor Daley in Chicago. If there was a major U.S. city and you wanted to play ball with the federales, then you knew what the Davis-Bacon Act was, and it was going to get imposed on your construction projects, but you were cool with that because that meant that you had federally guaranteed money. And what's the advantage of that? You can't run up debts in your state. The federales can. And boy, how they do they. So if you read the rest of the press release about the U.S. Department of Transportation reviewing Chicago's unconstitutional processes, this week U.S. DOT issued an interim final rule barring race and sex-based contracting requirements from federal grants. To continue implementation of this rule, U.S. DOT today sent letters to the Chicago Transit Authority to inform them that 2 projects, the CTA Red Line Extension and the CTA Red and Purple Modernization Program, are also under administrative review to determine whether any unconstitutional practices are occurring. Translation, they know that they are. Serving them notice, you're done. Let me tell you something, fat pumpkinhead Pritzker. Let me tell you something, fat boot-licking lackey. What's the mayor's name? The mayor of Chicago's name? Brandon. He's so unmemorable, I can't even remember the guy's last name. They're basically being told, we know what you're doing, and you're not going to get away with it anymore. It's over. The remaining federal funding for both projects totals $2.1 billion. Dude, you really, $2.1 billion. Brandon Johnson. This is pulling the rug, dude. This is going like, tell them, pull the rug, all of it. And I want to kill these contracts. We're not funding them anymore. They're not funding. Somebody can build that transit line if it needs to be built. We're going to get bids. I know, guys. I was in that business. It doesn't cost that much. Okay, it doesn't cost. This is one of the reasons why they the now infamous trip or famous trip to the Federal Reserve Building, where Trump is walking around with Jerome Powell going like, how much are you spending on this? What does this cost? And Jerome Powell goes, well, I think it's like, well, I don't actually know. And then Todd Blanche says, Mr. President, it's $500 million. $500 million, my guys could build this for 50. 10 times. You're wasting money, and I'm not going to allow it. That's what's going on with this. Here, play the next one. You want to hear some more Democrat lies? Oh, this is a really good one. She can't even lie well. Eliza Witch Warren. Oh, yeah, she gets really big. All right, go. If you don't do what I told you, I'm going to go Elizabeth Warren on you, and I'm going to crack a Subway sub over your head.
You know, Republicans say what you're really fighting for is taxpayer dollars for, as they put it, illegal aliens. I know that's not strictly true, but there is a provision.
Excuse me, not strictly true.
It's not true directly, but
flat-out lie. It is a flat-out lie.
No, it's not.
The way that they frame
There is nothing in Medicaid, there is nothing in Medicare that permits one undocumented immigrant to get $1 of assistance.
That's just not true.
The question.
Of course,
Senator,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, in the Democratic counteroffer, the proposal for funding, there is a restoration of Medicaid benefits for certain non-citizens that it had been taken away in the big, beautiful bill, as the Republicans put it. Republicans don't think those people should be getting health care on the taxpayer dime. I'm not asking on the merits. Politically, putting that in there exposes you to this talking point, this lie, as you put it. Why put it in there? Why is it worth it?
No, what's happened is that what we're saying is that whenever hospitals give care, what is going to be the level of reimbursement? And the Republicans said it's going to be a low level. The Democrats said we just want to go back to the level it was before because you're going to bankrupt hospitals. You're going to put rural hospitals out of business. The Republicans and the Democrats plan, nothing changes the number of undocumented immigrants who still get care if they show up bleeding and unconscious at an emergency room. There is absolutely zero difference. The difference is whether or not hospitals, who under laws that date back to Ronald Reagan.
Okay, stop the tape for just a second. This. Dumb bitch! The law she's talking about is ERISA, Emergency Room, blah, 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 blah Act. Many people opposed ERISA when Congress passed it and Reagan signed it, people like me, who said, you know what they're going to do with this? This is ultimately going to be used to gargantuanly, super ginormous, supersize the government share of healthcare spending because you're going to get care at emergency rooms. So ERISA basically said that if you show up at an ER, they have to stabilize you is the term, right? So you show up at an ER, you have to be stabilized, and then the state has to pay for it, basically. If you can't pay for it, then Medicaid or Medicare or S-CHIP or Obamacare, ACA, whoever, somebody is going to pay for it, and it ain't going to be you. That's what ERISA basically does. And all they've done ever since then is just continually expanded. And this is why so many of their charges go and get their care in emergency rooms.
To listen to challenge my faith and tickle my not-so-nice funny bone.
Well, you won't hear anything about Mondays coming or cheeseburgers in paradise, but you will hear the most brutally honest Catholic-inspired commentary on Parrot Talk. Weekdays.
Oh, this boats, beaches, bars, and ballads fan sees what you did there.
Weekdays at 2 Central on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on CrusadeChannel.com. Live talking podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Everybody loves a good trilogy. The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and now the KingDude Seasoning Trilogy. There's Beast and Butt Rub, Acadiana Steak, and the brand new Chicken Mamu Seasoning, a lemon herb-based rub that's won trophies in barbecue chicken cook-offs. Now, we've bundled all 3 spices together, and you can get them for one low price for less than it costs to rent a movie trilogy. And the KingDude offers you is personal money-back guaranteed of your taste buds' complete satisfaction. Order a KingDude Seasoning Trilogy today at shop.mychurch.com.
Have you ever dreamed of being like Brian Kay or Mitter Monday and being a free Farm Friday star? But you know you have no shot at it because you can't tell the difference between a U and a Y-O-U. Well, lucky for you, we have an entire bookstore filled with the books you need to become so passionate for farming, you'll soon be wearing a Brian Kay Calls Me for Advice t-shirt. So learn to grow by growing your library with books by shopping at shop.mikechurch.com.
You're listening to the Crusade Channel, a Black Hat Studios media property, broadcasting live 24/7 from Madisonville, Louisiana, and to the world via crusadechannel.com.
Crusade Channel News. News you can trust. Because the truth can be trusted. From the Crusade Channel News Desk, here's Janet Huxley.
Hello, Crusaders. Welcome to Friday, October the 3rd, 2025. I'm Janet Huxley, reporting for the Crusade Channel News Desk, live from the Dothan Farm and Ranch, south of Kansas City, Missouri. This report brought to you by Mike Church's Beast and Butt Rub, a rub that has won championships and will help make you a champ in your kitchen or backyard. Check out Mike's recipes and pick up a bottle or 6 today at shop.mikechurch.com. Here's what to listen for this hour. Trump notifies Congress of armed conflict with drug cartels. Military community reacts to Hegseth's demand for fitness loyalty. Hamas military chief rejects Trump's ceasefire plan. And the FDA just admitted what many have feared for years. Radioactive contamination is making its way into U.S. food imports. President Donald Trump has declared drug cartels to be unlawful combatants, says the United States is now in a non-international armed conflict, according to a newly obtained memorandum. The Trump administration has carried out 3 strikes in recent weeks on boats it said were smuggling drugs into the Caribbean, starting with a September 2nd strike that administrative officials said killed 11 members of Tren de Aragua, a criminal group that originated in Venezuela. Therefore, the president determined these cartels are non-state armed groups, designated them as terrorist organizations, and determined that their actions constitute an armed attack against the U.S., said a White House spokesperson. War Secretary Pete Hegseth delivered a blunt message to military leaders from around the globe this week. Get fit and get on board with the Trump agenda or get out. It marked the first time generals from around the world had been summoned to convene with the secretary, and many had expected closed-door announcements on trimming the general officer corps, drawing down forces in the Middle East and Europe, or cutting civilian and contractor roles. Instead, what they got was a televised address from Hegseth and President Donald Trump, the secretary pushing a populist message of handing decision-making back to the warfighter, requiring senior leadership to perform physical training in line with lower-ranking officers, and bringing uniformity back to the force. Hamas's top military leader in Gaza wants the terror group to reject President Trump's ceasefire proposal, urging negotiators to walk away from the deal. Ez al-Din al-Haddad, who helped plan the October 7, 2023 terrorist attack, slammed Trump's 20-point peace deal as a way to eliminate Hamas without achieving any of its goals, the BBC reported. Our quote of the day: "Nothing great is ever achieved without enduring much." St. Catherine of Siena. Coming up, our saint of the day. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Capuchin Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com.
It's the I Love Lee Show, starring Lee, with special guest Jim.
Come on, dude, pick up.
Jim's Bait Shop.
Very boomer funny of you.
Yeah, I thought so too. What's up?
What was the name of the live talk radio thingy? You know, that show with the holy guy you were telling me about?
Talk radio, holy guy. I'm sure I have no idea.
Yeah, the guy's name rhymed with Lurch. He was talking about being holy or something.
Talking about... Oh, you mean Mike Church. He's not trying to be holy.
Yeah, he's also not trying to fake being holy. Anyway, I just came from the Lila Rose 2-for-1 podcast promotion, and I didn't make a dent in one, much less get 2, and I need something cool to listen to on the 6-hour drive I have coming up.
Well, the KingDude's got you covered there.
So, you got the deets?
No, but my dad had shingles.
Oh, you're such a boomer! Deets, as in details, as in where and when do I find this guy?
I'm not a boomer, and his podcast is hiding in plain sight at this thing called a website at crusadechannel.com.
Why can't he just have a QR code?
Want me to come over there and type that in for you, Zoomer?
The Crusade Channel 4.0, one of life's simple pleasures.
Yeah, like hearing a tree beginning its journey to the paper mill.
Like paper over plastic, some things like the Crusade Channel.
And good old-fashioned live talk radio.
Never go out of style at crusadechannel.com.
Speaking of out of style, Jim, we need to talk about your hair.
What's the matter with my hair?
The 80s hair metal band's called, and they want their style back.
Really?
Our saint of the day is Saint Therese of Lisieux. I prefer the monotony of obscure sacrifice to all ecstasies. To pick up a pin for love can convert a soul. These are the words of Therese of Lisieux, a Carmelite nun called the Little Flower, who lived a cloistered life of obscurity in the convent of Lisieux, France. And her preference for hidden sacrifice did indeed convert souls. Few saints of God are more popular than this young nun. Her autobiography, The Story of a Soul, is read and loved throughout the world. Therese Martin entered the convent at the age of 15 and died in 1897 at the age of 24. She saw in quiet suffering a redemptive suffering, a suffering that was indeed her apostolate. Therese said she came to the Carmel convent to save souls and pray for priests, and shortly before she died, she wrote, "I want to spend my heaven doing good on earth." Therese was canonized in 1925, and on October the 19th of 1997, Pope John Paul II proclaimed her a doctor of the Church, the third woman to be so recognized in the light of her holiness and the influence of her teaching on spirituality in the Church. The FDA just admitted what many have feared for years: radioactive contamination making its way into U.S. food imports from nuclear disasters like Fukushima. First it was shrimp, 84 million pounds shipped from Indonesia this year alone. Now it's cloves, according to naturalnews.com. Cloves, obviously a common kitchen spice, both tested positive, both the cloves and the shrimp, for cesium-137, a deadly radioactive isotope linked to nuclear disasters. While officials claim no tainted products reached the store shelves, hundreds of thousands of shrimp packages sold at Kroger and other major retailers have already been recalled. The FDA only reacts after contamination is discovered, raising doubts about undetected radiation in rice, coconut products, and other imports. I'm Janet Huxley for the Crusade Channel, seeking news and finding truth.
It's the WWE and the UFC for live talk radio Thursday Night Throwdown, hosted by you. Win a seat at the table, win the throwdown, and then you pick next week's topic.
Now that's real live talk radio exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Radio, the way it should be.
For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Oh, well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem. I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why did they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
That's coming aboard. The freight train of truth is leaving MAGA Station. The Mike Church Show here is on, 34 years young. A crusade for the truth, America's morning show. You know all the drill. It is a free phone Friday, you people.
And you know what that means.
Oh, and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, you know, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
Do it!
It's free phone. It's free phone.
Yes, it is a free phone Friday. Yay! Day you are charged with the task of telling us what it is we shall talk about on the program. You can choose from the smorgasbord of topics laid out in front of your very ears during the course of this week. Call in-line telephone number 844-527-8723, 844-5-CRUSADE. Email address, same as it ever hath been, I am KingDude at protonmail.com. Crusader Stadium chat room is open, 56 chatters in there. That's a little short of 138 that I asked for, you people. CrusadeChannel.com/chat. This portion of the program brought to you by the Founders Trading Post store. You should be shopping in the store for Capuchin Holy Roast. You know, you guys had a chance to get $2 off per bag yesterday. There's still coffee left in there. Still great books like the Weird Catholic Handbook. Somebody actually bought the St. Peter and the First Christians book yesterday. I don't know who bought it. Poor little book has been sitting in there languishing for a year and a half going, hey, please, somebody adopt me. I'm just a book and I just want to be read, please. I'm on the island of misfit books. You know what that means? You're in Mike's store. So somebody actually rescued that book, and I can't wait to hear a review on it. Stores at shop.mikechurch.com. It is a free phone and a free farm Friday, so I'm going to do a little bit of free farm frivolity here. We'll play it a song. This is not really about farming today, though, but it kind of is. It could be about farming. All right, sing along at home.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
All right, everybody. The chores.
The stores.
Fresh air.
Times Square.
You are my wife.
Goodbye, city life.
Green Acres, we are there.
All right, to the Green Acres, the Free Farm Friday hotline. I was telling all of you about this just a moment ago, last segment. And we were talking about the San Damiano College for the Trades. And you can find them at sandamianotrades.org. First thing you'll notice when you go to the site, there's videos of young men actually working with their hands. Well, gee, what a novel idea. I was made aware of the San Damiano College for the Trades by Edgar Morgan, who is a Crusader. And Edgar sent me an email and said, do you know about this? And I wrote him back and I said, no. And he said, well, would you like to know about it? And I said, yes, of course I would. As someone who has been selling the Durable Trades book for, 5 years now. And so I was put in contact with Ken Lesnowski, who is, Ken, now what are you two? You're the dean?
Oh, I'm the president, the founding president of the college.
Okay. So now you're in Illinois, right?
Yes, we are in Illinois.
We are all apologetic. We all apologize for that. We're all sorry to hear that you're well, I know Illinois, actually, if you've ever driven it, if you go up like Interstate 55, Takes 6 hours to get to the bad part where Chicago is, right?
Look, most of Illinois is not crazy, as I come to discover. But let me tell you, if you're gonna try to start some administrative project, like higher education, Illinois is one of the more complicated places to do that, and that's a generous way of talking.
It's very generous. The Charleston Academy for Building Arts. I don't know if you know Wade Ritzy. That's the only other school in the United States I know of that's doing what you guys are doing. And they're probably in like year number 12 now. They're ironworking, plastering, which is a trade and a skill that is in such high demand now because historical buildings are falling apart. And then there's the new trades that are going to be needed, like Mike Rowe is talking about all the time. You need your plumbers, you need your electricians, you need your welders, you need your pipe fitters, all of these trades. What do you guys specialize in?
Our ethos is really about restoration. The motto of the college is Restaurate Ecclesiam Meam. It's rebuild my church, right? And so we're about rebuilding the church in every sense of that word. Starting the way St. Francis of Assisi did. A lot of people overlook that. He picked up stones and he physically rebuilt the church. And people say, oh, well, it wasn't really about that. Well, yeah, it was. And he went on to have a spiritual impact in the church, which is amazing. But keep in mind, the dream of the Pope was that he was supporting the church, like on his back, and so we're about that. We're about restoring everything that's good in the church, including church buildings. So really what we do in our first year is expose the students to 7 different trades, everything in the basic construction trades realm, so that they can have a base competency really in everything you would need to rebuild anything, including a church. And then we expose them to some stained glass and some painting restoration and other things that are more precise to church restoration. But we want to give them a broad competency.
Somebody, one of our listeners, took his son, a family trip last year, to the Cathedral of Cologne. And they're standing outside, they're looking up at it, and the son says to the Dad, I wonder how could we build one of these today? Maybe we could build one of these in the United States. And the dad goes, son, we can't. We don't know how to. I think that's actually a pretty true statement. And unfortunately, modern building methods have made it so that the actual, construction with brick and mortar and carving stones out. Look at the Cathedral of Cologne. There's a lot of stonework there. But there's also a lot of woodwork. You mentioned stained glass. Where can you find stained glass? They actually mass manufacture it. They screen print it now. They use transparent inks and they screen print it on the glass to make it look like it's stained, like a stained glass, but it's really not classic stained glass. So there's someone that goes. A young man that goes to San Damiano Trades School, can they go there to learn just construction skills? Or are you specifically saying we're cranking out the next generation of church builders?
Well, so they will not finish our school with our curriculum as ready to do full out restoration arts. Okay. So what we're offering, again, in our first year curricular-wise, is an exposure to this whole broad spectrum. And then for the rest of the time, for their other 2 years here, they're actually picking a trade to work out in the world. And so if they can get a job with one of the church restoration companies that are within driving distance, then they can dive deep into that. Otherwise, they might be working with a contractor or a union crew or something else in one of the, an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, masonry, right? So the basic thing is that we train them up in a competence. Now, if you want to go then take that and move directly into something more like a church restoration craft, you'll find a job right out there with some of the companies around the country that are looking for that. And so, because again, like everywhere else, they can't find good employees.
That's right.
So they want someone who's competent, humble, and hungry to learn and who's devout. That's what they're looking for. And that's what our guys are. And so, if they go out to those companies after graduating, there's not going to be a problem for them to win jobs.
And you also have a rugby program. So, I mean, that. Because on the website, there are young men playing rugby.
We love this. We love sports.
I love it too.
Yeah.
I think young men ought to be well-rounded like that. Here in New Orleans, we go to Old St. Patrick's on Camp Street, which was begun in 1835, and they finished it completely finished it in 1847, I believe. I have a book on how they actually built the church. Father Garrett O'Brien. I asked him, I said, Father, are there any secrets to this church? He goes, as a matter of fact, there are. There's a book. And I said, for the 100th anniversary in 1957, they had a book. They actually commissioned a book, and a bunch of people wrote stories about it. One of the things that I was so fascinated by was, okay, how did they build this 185-foot tall structure on the kind of ground that you had in New Orleans? Well, it's an interesting story, but this is a little factoid that is in the book. When St. Patrick's Cathedral or the Basilica, because St. Louis Cathedral is actually a cathedral in New Orleans, so you can't call it a cathedral, but it is. When it was completed in that beautiful Gothic style that you couldn't probably do today, maybe you guys could figure out how to do it. It was the tallest structure on the banks of the Mississippi River in the United States. So if you were a ship captain and you were going down the Mississippi River, the landmark to look for, if you were looking for New Orleans, would be St. Patrick's or St. Louis. But it was the tallest structure on the banks of the Mississippi at that time, and it held the record all the way until the mid part of the 20th century when skyscrapers started being built in cities like New Orleans. But what I'm fascinated about is, Father O'Brien has the task. It's on the registry of national buildings now, so they can't tear it down. The only thing they can do is restore it. And you talk about some plaster work and some intricate beams. Like, I look up at those beams every Sunday and go, how do they do that? What is holding the roof up on this thing? Would a young man that goes to San Damiano, in the engineering part, would he be taught kind of like, how did that Gothic structure work?
Yeah, so well, in a basic sense, we don't have an engineering program.
Okay.
Right? We offer an associate degree in the great books, or we don't offer it. We're teaming up with another university to create that program that we're aiming at. But they'll get Euclid, right, and basic church architecture.
Right.
And we do those together, right? So we're thinking about the idea of what is an angle, what are shapes, how do they work together philosophically and mathematically, and then we do that in the context of sacred architecture. So it's really a beautiful way of introducing those ideas.
And use the term sacred architecture, which could in the church, it might be the rectory, it might be again, just using St. Patrick's as a model.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's, the pews. I look at the pews and I go like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
It's just the woodworking that goes into the pews. In this sacred restoration, your students then, or someone that would graduate out of there, would, as you said, would go to work for a company. How many of these companies are there?
You would be surprised, actually, how many of the smaller companies there are, right? So within Springfield, there's a stained glass company. We're a town of 100,000, 120,000, even though we're the capital, allegedly,
right.
Illinois.
No, Chicago's the capital.
Then an hour away in Peoria, there's a wonderful company called Heritage Restoration and Design. They are doing all kinds of great work in church restoration. In St. Louis, there's a ton of great work going on there. ML Fry, stained glass and restoration. Jacksonville, 45 minutes away, there's Jacksonville Stained Glass. So, you'd be surprised at how many small companies there are. And you talk to these guys and they say, well, look, I don't know who I'm going to give my company to. I don't know who's going to take this on, right? If it's not my kids, if they haven't been blessed enough for their children to follow in that tradition, They've got nothing. And so, we need to raise up a new generation of people who want to receive the tradition of restorative arts and of just the trades in general, working with their hands.
Well, I think the San Damiano Trades is a great place to start. So, folks, if you have young men in your life that are looking for a vocation, and that's what this is, it's a calling, it's a vocation, I think this is a great place to start. I'm just browsing around the website, 400 hours of technical instruction in a trade, up to 2,000 hours on-the-job training in a trade. That's enough to prepare one. We used to have these things called guilds, right?
Yeah.
You would have Stained Glass Workers Guild, the Carpentry Guild, the Iron Guild, or whatever the case may have been. We have a guild here, the Crusade Radio Guild, and we hope that young men will take up the trade, or young women, primarily young men, of learning radio broadcasting from yours truly. So we're big into promoting vocations here. And this, to me, as I browse around on the website, this just seems to me that this is a whole project. This is addressing the whole young man here, which colleges used to do.
Oh yeah.
You want to crank out honorable, virtuous young men to go into society, right? And this seems to me like San Damiano Trades is a great place to start.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, look, college has become the standard bachelor's degree. Let's not mince words. It has become basically, I'm going to go pay, right, $60,000, $80,000 a year for the opportunity to have drunken debauchery every weekend and learn basket weaving and nothing else, or, woke politics or whatever it is. Like, that's what it's become. And then, oh, by the way, when you're done, you'll be unemployable and have $40,000 of debt at the minimum.
True
right?
story.
Like, it's crazy. We need to fix it. And that's part of what we're doing here.
There's Maggie, what's the name of the book? I think you have it. I saw it on the table in here. We gave Father Starkovich a copy of Building Churches. There's a book that Romanatus Press actually has out. You're nodding your head. I think you're familiar with it. It's not a durable trades book, but it's how they used to build churches. And I found a copy of it. Well, he sent me a press copy of it about 7, 8 years ago when it came out. Here it is. I'm sure you're familiar with this. That's an amazing book. This is the coolest book for a kid, for a young man. If I was a young guy, I would devour this thing. So as an older guy, I did devour it. And I'm going through the book and I'm going like, man, this is how they did it. It actually shows you how they did it. So I think that, and this is pretty much some of what you're doing at San Damiano.
Yeah, we want to inspire men to be interested in exactly that.
So if someone has an interest in this, they should just go to the website?
Yeah, go to the website, fill out our student interest form, and we'll get you into a conversation with us. We'll get you out here for a visit, and you can start praying with us and learning with us and working with us.
Can I come for a visit?
Yeah, man, we'd love to get you out here.
Now, what year were you founded?
2024. I mean, we are brand spanking new. This is our first year with students.
Maggie,
it's going well.
Maggie, did you have the drone shot of the actual building? I assume that you guys actually built that building.
Well, believe it or not, that building has been there since the sisters came here in 1875.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
It looks brand new.
Yeah, well, they rebuilt new portions of it. Right? They've reconsolidated portions of it. Some of it's new in 2009, but really the lion's share of it is very old. That church is from 1924. It is one of the most amazing churches I've ever been in. And you're just like, what is this doing in the middle of Illinois out here?
We're looking at it on the, you can't see it, but we're looking at it as she's showing the audience where the drone shot that you sent me, or the aerial shot. The roofs are beautiful. Did you guys have to restore the roofs?
So the roof restoration has been done mostly by a company named Tremco, and they came out here for 4 weeks and taught us about industrial roofing and restoration of roofs. It was a really cool module for the students.
Okay, so a young man with that, or someone that's interested, go to sandamianotrades.org, fill the form out, and go and apply. How many students? So you just started a year ago. I assume you do have some students.
Oh yeah, we are Look, we only planned to take 20. We ended up taking 24. We had something like 85 applications for 24 spots. I mean, and it's going to be crazy this year too. The applications keep coming in. And so if you want to get in on this, get in quick, because, you want to get in front of that line before it gets too big.
All right. Ken has to go teach a class, so he's going to go teach a class. I have a break coming up. Ken, I want to thank you. I'm going to make a video out of this. We'll make sure that you get a copy. You can distribute it as you see fit. What a great program, folks. SanDamianoTrades.org.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Silk Feather. Ma'am.
Hey, Ken, thank you very much. I got you out in time to get.
Muscles over lunch and catch episodes of Suspense weekdays noon till 2 on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and classic radio the way it should be.
I like my version of suspense. Hey!
Doesn't work without me.
Hello, Crusaders. I'm Janet Huxley at the Crusade Channel News Desk with your Crusade Crucials for Friday, October 3rd, 2025. This report brought to you by Mike Church's Beast and Butt Rub, a rub that's won championships and will help make you a champ in your kitchen or backyard. Check out Mike's recipes and pick up a bottle or 6 today at shop.mikechurch.com. In the market report, the Dow is up again 0.17% and the S&P 0.06%. NASDAQ climbed 0.39%. Today in National Day calendar news is the day in 1789 that President Washington proclaimed Thursday, November 26, 1789, as the first Thanksgiving Day. Then in 1863, President Lincoln declared the last Thursday in November as Thanksgiving Day. It's also National Body Language Day and Techies Day, National Manufacturing Day, and National Boyfriend Day. Our quote of the day, nothing great is ever achieved without enduring much, St. Catherine of Siena. And our saint of the day, the Little Flower of Jesus, a well-known nun who passed away of TB, and whose autobiography, The Story of a Soul, is read and loved throughout the world. I want to spend my heaven doing good on earth, she wrote shortly before she died. St. Therese of Lisieux, you're listening to Crusade Channel News.
This is a pixel. I'm Groot. If you put a couple of million of these guys together, you can make a sentence on an LED screen. Put a couple of billion of them together, and you can make a whole page. Put 360 billion, and you've got Joseph Pierce's A History of True England. But it doesn't smell like a history of true England, and it burns teeny little holes in your cornea. So, is the pixel really your friend? I'm Groot. No, Groot, but the Founders Trading Post is your friend, and we have actual books with actual smelly pages. Plus, our little bookstore has everything you'd expect. I'm Groot. Yep, we got Sacred Heart flags, Groot, but no to the One Tree Hill sappy guitar music.
Pick up a copy of Joseph Pierce's True History of England, plus a dozen other Joseph Pierce titles at shop.mikechurch.com. Now, in our 9th year, Crusade Channel News is simply the best daily newscast on all of radio.
News that informs and inspires and doesn't destroy any critical thinking brain cells.
Catch it at 6, 8, and 3 p.m. on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on CrusadeChannel.com. Live talk and news radio.
The way it should be.
You know, Jeff Johnson, you're playing with fire, bro. Last time somebody complained about a Bee Gees song, that's how the Bee Gees Super Medley got started. I would back off if I was you. It's a Friday tradition. Turn down the radio and turn up. I'm good. Oh, stay
Well, you can't tell by the way I use my work. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music love, my women walk, being kicked around since I was born. But now it's alright, it's okay. You can't love the.
Oh, you want me to pick you?
No.
You want the you want the medley?
No.
I think she wants the medley. I think she wants the medley. I think she does. Just one. But Maggie, this is you.
More than a woman. More than a woman to me. More than a woman.
All right, it is a Free Found Friday. You have expressed your opinions on the Bee Gees Super Medley and the Crusader Stadium chat room. It wasn't a super medley. It was just two.
That's enough.
Just two. What? On the drive home the other day, you didn't seem to mind when it was just. As a matter of fact, it was your playlist, ma'am.
Okay.
Do you not?
Do you really want to know what had happened? What had happened is you're using my music app. So now it's adding your crappy music to my playlist. 100%.
You did. I didn't do it. You did it. You
100.
did it. You
No.
did it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm a secret Bee Gees listener.
You actually are. You own a copy.
I'm not.
You actually are. You own a copy of one. It's in your CD case. If you want me to go take a picture of it, because people have pictures, there's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong with being a Bee Gees fan? There are worse things. There are worse things, Brian.
Oh, I know.
There are worse things. By the way, big news. Nick Sortor is out. He is out of jail. And Kristi Noem sent DHS agents to the jail, to the jail in Portland, Oregon, to go get Nick out. And he's at, I believe Bill Malugion's going to interview him shortly. He was charged with disturbing the peace. Is that right?
Yes.
Charged with disturbing the peace.
Let me go back to Bill.
And he's going to...
Disorderly conduct.
And disorderly conduct. So that's the actual charge. But the DHS Secretary, Kristi Noem, went, "You're not safe in there. These people are evil. They are bad. They will try and put you in with the violent prison population." And so they went and they got him out. Bill Melugin was there. He was only in there for a couple of hours. This is the worst part about this is, if the charges aren't dropped, that means he has to go back to Portland. Now, if it's a misdemeanor, then you could just pay the fine.
Isn't it odd how you have... Don't you find it
Hang on.
Don't you find it odd that you have these, like, what's his face said, these groups, Jesse Waters, 60 people, the same 60 people there every night throwing Molotov cocktails and stuff that don't ever get arrested, but he does one night?
Yeah, it's a selective form of justice, I would say. In any event, Nick Sortor is out. And again, if you missed the news earlier, why was he in jail? He was in jail because the dude out in front of the ICE building in Portland was burning a flag, an American flag. Nick Sortor is like, "Okay, man, enough of this crap." Walks up to the dude, takes the flag out of his hand, throws it on the ground, stomps out the fire, picks the flag up, and walks away. And for that, they threw him in the clink. This is a kind of an interesting story. About, 6 months ago or so, I got a friend request from a Nick Sortor on Facebook. And I went, that can't be like the Nick Sortor journalist, dude. So I clicked on the profile, and sure enough, it was. So I accepted it. And just moments ago, I just sent him a note telling him that you guys were all praying for him and that we have been talking about it and had been following the story. And we're glad to see that you are out of jail.
Breaking.
Hold on. Breaking! Maggie says Kash Patel is on a roll. Breaking. Here we go. FBI Director Kash Patel was formally cut off all ties between the FBI and the SPLC. Brother Andre, are you listening? The SPLC has labeled the St. Benedict Center as a hate group. And Brother Andre himself as like the ringleader of the alleged hate group. As a matter of fact, Amazon used the SPLC's decision on the St. Benedict Center to deny the St. Benedict Center as membership in the Amazon, what do they call the program? Wish? It's a program where if you're a nonprofit, you can fill a form out and sign up at Amazon. And then when people make purchases at Amazon, you can designate someone that is in I think it's Amazon Smile.
That might be what it is.
I think it's the Amazon Smile program. You can designate a nonprofit, and Amazon will give the nonprofit, I forget whatever
It's Amazon Smile.
It is Amazon Smile. We'll give the nonprofit 10% or whatever, some percentage of whatever the purchase is, so that nonprofits get a little cut, basically, of your shopping there. But the SPLC took care of that. And the St. Benedict Center was basically kicked out of Amazon. And so Brother Andre's like, "Oh, yeah, well, you're going to do that? Well, I'm just going to remove my application from Smile and encourage everyone that was participating in the Smile program to drop out because it had been tainted by the SPLC. These people are awful, awful, awful people. This Potak character, I call him the Predator, the nonprofit Predator, because he looks like if you put the little pinchers on the front of his face, Potak, he's the Predator. He's that ugly. But this Potak character has gone after and ruined the lives, or trying to ruin the lives of so many people and individuals. It's just sick. The Southern Poverty Law Center is a bunch, it is an extortion racket. Just continuing on, just the day before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the SPLC had targeted him and TPUSA in their Hate Watch newsletter. Elon Musk called them out, saying they were guilty of incitement to murder Charlie Kirk. Now they are cut off. Good. It's interesting that a Southern Poverty Law Center, or someplace that calls it a Southern Poverty Law Center, is not impoverished. It's not impoverished. It has hundreds of millions of dollars at its high water mark in donations. This is one of the groups that makes you kind of sour on 501c3 nonprofits. All right, let's do some more digital media files. What else do we have on the cut sheet for it? Oh, let's do Newt Gingrich. By the way, Democrats are all over their media today saying Democrats we wish to reach an agreement with Republicans on the shutdown, but these nasty Republicans won't even talk to us. They won't miss us because they're all with Trump. By the way, another news item didn't cover earlier. Apple has removed what was the app called? Something Ice. Apple, at the request of Ice Block, at the request of DHS, or maybe it was direct. Maybe Trump made the call. Pam Bondi made the request, saying that you have an app that is being used. It's called Ice Block. It is being used for people to dox ICE agents, and 4 of them have now been shot at. Others are being followed and tailed. Others are afraid for their lives because there are wackos on their lawns. This is wrong, and you need to stop. And so Pam Bondi appealed to Apple Computer to say, please remove this app. It is dangerous to law enforcement from your app store. And Apple did. Apple removed it and 2 other apps that were similar. And of course, the guy that came up with that, we are committed to the safety of American citizens. By definition, the people that ICE targets, dummy, aren't citizens. They're citizens of another country. You almost said it, you moron. So kudos to Apple. They should have done this. Now, will ABC do the same thing? Will Google remove it from the Google Play Store? Do you know what back handsprings through flaming hula hoops of fire I had to go through to get the brand new Crusade channel? I don't talk enough about the app. People have readily settled into using it and have pretty much stopped complaining about it, so it must be doing a pretty good job. If you're not using the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, you should, and your mobile, you should be. It's a free download. By the by, doesn't hurt if you're using the app and you like it to write a review in the Apple Store. Play Newt Gingrich. Number 6. Digital media file number 6. By the way, the Chicken Lady and BK from Michigan are in Las Vegas and say that they're headed to the airport to go through TSA.
Their flight's delayed 2.5 hours.
There is no TSA. TSA went, you're not going to pay us and stuff to harass people? We're not going to show up then. So we know that at LaGuardia, there was no one there this morning. It was empty. I hope this continues going on so the American public can see just how much they do not need the federal government of the United States. And I hope I hope Russell Vaughn just keeps going, I don't think you need that one either. Check. Slash. Anyway, here's Speaker Gingrich.
This may be we are very dumbest.
Oh, wait. That's 2 audio. Hold, please.
Hang on. Got double, triple audio playing. Hang on. Hold on. We're getting to it. Hang on. Hold on.
This may be the dumbest strategy that I have seen in a long time. There are 2 things the American people want. Do not close the government and do not raise spending. So what do the Democrats do? They say, I'm going to close the government until you raise spending. That's a double negative. Do you know how hard it is for a major party to design a strategy that has two different stupid things in the same strategy. But it is really one of the dumbest moments in party history, certainly in the last 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, it is. Well, these are dumb people, Newt. Mr. Speaker, these are stupid people. You know what's even scarier is they keep revealing themselves as being more and more stupid. You have to wonder how it is possible that, and these people get to vote on appropriations that total into the trillions of dollars. I don't think these people can balance checkbooks. I don't think some of these people, it would be interesting to see if we went back on the S&H green stamp system, how many Democrats could navigate through green stamps and through the green stamp program to purchase tchotchkes that they may want. We should bring back green stamps just to see. Well, what is this? What is this, like, piece of paper and that they put into my hand? What do I like to do with this and well, they give you a little book, too. You take the stamps, put them in the book. What is this book thing? I don't know. I have things I don't like on my phone and stuff. What is this? This must be some Republican conspiracy. Well, a lot of people don't know what an S&H green stamp is, or just what a green stamp. You don't know what it is. So back in the day, look it up. Look it up.
Well, I thought you were going to tell me.
Well, it's okay. You know how you go to Winn-Dixie, for example, and they ask you for your rewards card. You put that away, and I will tell you. So, you go to Winn-Dixie, and you go like, oh, look, ribeyes are on sale. If I have a rewards card, $9.99 a pound, $19.99 a pound otherwise. Okay. So you get a rewards card. Okay. So you get the reward right then. Prior to that, you had S&H, for example, green stamps. And when you checked out at the grocery store, they would say, oh, you spent $21. Here's 21 green stamps or whatever. I don't remember what it was. And you would take the stamps home. They were actually little stamps. And you get a book and you would put the green stamps in your book. There it is right there. That's a picture of a green stamp book. And then after you collect a certain amount of green stamps, you take it back to the store and go like, look, I filled my book up. And then you could buy things with the stamps. It was a rewards program without the digital swipe card. That's basically what. Yes, you had to fill up the whole book, but they had different size books.
I see that.
So you had a big giant book where if you want to get a vacuum cleaner, you got to get 1,000 stamps or whatever the case may be. Yeah, the Democrats are just showing themselves to being the lying, stupid people that they are. Is Magdalene there? Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor. Nick Sortor is out of jail. Interesting that Kristi Noem actually feared for his life and sent DHS agents to the jail in Portland to get Nick out of jail.
Well, she had no choice. He could have been seriously hurt in there. We know that from how Andy Ngo and others were treated during the Portland riots in 2018, 2019. I think the problem for Democrats is that if they arrest Republicans who are simply covering what's happening, it makes it really clear that the Democrats are not even in control of Portland and other areas. Antifa is and has been for many years.
So I had forgotten. Andy Ngo was arrested?
He was arrested. He was hurt. He was beaten very badly. And then he was pulled in for questioning while he was reeling from a terrible beating several years ago. And he had said he was in fear of his life. Many people have been arrested there before, conservative commentators and things who are doing nothing but filming what's happening because Antifa runs a major city in America. And everyone who says it was told, oh, no, you're crazy. We're not crazy. That is the reality of what's been happening.
It is a sad state of affairs that Antifa actually is in control of Portland. And I just wonder, with all that's going on, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, Trump did declare Antifa as a terrorist organization. So it shouldn't be running anything.
No, it shouldn't. And the truth is, Antifa was dismissed by Republicans for many years. And Trump was one of the few people who was like, no, it seems like this is bad. It seems like they're organized and there's a mob rule mentality. And when the whole kids in cages thing happened that Trump was blamed for when it was Obama who did that, Antifa actively declared war on Republicans to the point where anywhere there was an Antifa chapter, Republicans were really advised not to be in. And if you think about the lunacy of that American citizens, natural-born American citizens, if they identify with one of the major political parties in the country for which the president is from at that time, they shouldn't go to certain areas of the country. I'm sorry, that makes that group a terrorist organization.
Yeah, we have, wherever there is Antifa violence follows. You know, I had a guest on at the beginning of this hour, and he made a joke. He goes, well, you know, I'm the college is in the capital of Springfield. And I went, no, the capital's in Chicago. And he laughed. He goes, well, that's what most people think, and that's what it practically speaking, that's the situation. The capital's in Chicago. But one thing most people would not know, unless you have made the drive, if you go up Interstate 55 and you leave from, so that would be Hammond, Louisiana, you will go through states and you'll get into the very, very southern part of Illinois, and you will drive almost 6 hours before you get to Chicago. That's how large of a state Illinois is. And if you look at the entirety of the state of Illinois outside of Chicago, you will notice something. Kind of like Pennsylvania, Illinois is crimson red. It's not red, it's crimson red outside of Illinois. Because what is it? It's mom and pop shops, it's small universities, it's agriculture, a lot of agriculture in the southern part of Illinois, and yet it is run from the center of the city of Chicago. So the wretched city of Chicago screws up all the politics of the rest of the state of Illinois, just like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia screw up all the politics of the rest of the state of Pennsylvania. You know, and I always wonder how long before the people of these states like they just go, screw it. We're going to secede, and there's nothing you can do about it. We're going to form Southern Illinois, and if you don't like it, just come and try and stop us.
Well, I think that is boiling up, and you can see the places where it's possible. Like New Jersey, there's a move towards
same thing in New Jersey.
Yeah, across the board, they're having that fight. But when you look at cities like New York, that's kind of the problem, because if you look at upstate New York, very deep red,
crimson red.
Especially because they would like a bigger Second Amendment than they have in that area. Right now, they can have very limited hunting rifles and things. They are very red. Everywhere in this country that's not a dense population spot of leftists is red. And that's why the argument from Democrats that, like, they are overtaking Republicans in numbers and they're the future, that's not the case, because the vast majority of the country, outside of a few hot spots, that are people that move there to be with like-minded people, all of it is red. And I think for Trump at this point, there's nothing he can do that's not hard enough. Like when he designated Antifa a terrorist organization, the sort of like ridiculous, weak Republicans,
right.
They're like, that's too far, it's too far. But everybody else supported it. Because the truth is, we want those things designated as terrorist organizations. We want those people arrested. We want people deported. Whenever he does something like that, I'm like, that's what I voted for. I didn't vote necessarily for debate and conversations. I just really voted for conservative action.
Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor on the Dude Maker Hotline, here with us. I want to play the soundbite from Chris Wright, Energy Secretary. Your favorite politician, who he's not really a politician, Russell Vought, is just, they're just lining the ducks up, and he's going like, yeah, you can go ahead. We'll just knock that one out. Here's Chris Wright announcing, you know what we're going to do today? We're going to cut $8 billion of your stupid Green New Deal, and we're going to cut it permanently, and you're never getting it back.
This has been thousands of work hours to evaluate all of these projects. Just an incredible, irresponsible deployment of taxpayer money. I mean, should American taxpayers really fund decarbonizing Uber Eats in San Francisco or building e-bike lanes in Portlandia? $600 million to further subsidize construction of unreliable, expensive electricity sources in California. California can do what it wants, but the 49 other states' taxpayers shouldn't be subsidizing that.
And I say to that, bravo. Do it again.
He said Portlandia.
Portlandia. Did you catch that, Magdalene? Portlandia?
Yes.
There's another one. Okay. Transportation Secretary Duffy earlier today told the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois, you're screwed. We're taking $2.1 billion back in construction projects because we have an executive order here. You can't use it. You have to fund racially segregated and DEI-based hiring companies. We have identified that you have that, and we're yanking the funding. This whole thing is backfiring on Democrats, and their big city projects are now being, and this is the heart and soul of the old Democrat Party. I was telling the story earlier. Nancy Nazi Pelosi's dad was the mayor of Baltimore for decades because the Democrats locked up labor, that's union labor, and in doing so, they locked up federally and state financed building projects in all of those major cities that were all built by Democrat-controlled and Democrat-run labor unions. President Trump is now using the shutdown to go like, hey, you stopped me from draining this part of the swamp. Now during the shutdown, I have the legal authority, actually the responsibility to drain it, and I'm going to remove your funding. If this continues for much longer, the Democrat Party, in all of its major strongholds, every federally financed and funded major city in the United States, they're all going to be broke. They won't have any more of our money to destroy us with.
No, they won't. And I think that the Democrat system of they're going to take whatever they want from the federal government, lecture us, make people in the suburban communities and rural communities live in a nightmare because of the crime they import into their cities is kind of at an end. This way that they have acted, where it's never their fault, that there's endless needs for increases in housing, that there's endless needs for the Social Security services in this country. It's ridiculous. And one thing that Stephen Miller and Vaught and Trump have all been very clear on is that America First doesn't mean that we don't help people in this country. It means we help people only in this country and only American citizens. Of all races, it doesn't matter. But if you're a natural-born American citizen or you've gone through the actual legal immigration process, we're going to help you. If we can cut the fat Democrats have created, we can help people as a society so much more with business loans, with everything that goes into setting up a life. That's the tagline people want to hear more, and that seems to be what Vance is leaning into discussing in his 2028 probable run, where he's going to say it's not that we don't want to help people, it's we want to help only the American people.
Here is another part of how the Democrats are actually, through a con job, funding the health care of illegal aliens, even though they claim that they're not. And Maggie pointed this out during the timeout. If you're talking about a state like California, or Massachusetts, it self-identifies as a sanctuary state, right?
Yes.
Okay. Self-identifies as a sanctuary state. Their legislature then passes laws saying that any illegal that makes their way there is entitled to state-sponsored benefits, including food, education, shelter, and then what's the big one? Health care. Now, it looks like the state is funding this. Okay? That's what it looks like it. If you have emergency rooms, let's just use an example. Let's just say Los Angeles, for example, and it is a sanctuary city and a sanctuary state, and you have, and estimates vary. Some people say 30 or 35% of all Los Angelinians these days are illegal aliens. So if, and who uses the emergency room, Magdalene? People that don't have health insurance. people that don't have health insurance use the ER to get health care. So, because number one, you can't be turned away, and number two, it's a good probability, depending on what state it is, someone else is going to pay for it. So the Democrats know this. So all these illegal aliens that have taken up residence in all these sanctuary states go to the emergency rooms and get their health care. The state then goes like, oh, this is an expense we have to reimburse the hospital for. So what do? They dip into the Medicaid fund for that state, which came from Magdalene Rose. Where did the Medicaid fund get the money?
Federal government.
The federal government. So this is the drain, and this is what Trump is talking about. And this is what, now, I think, explained it very well. But this is what J.D. Vance explained. You go to J.D. Vance, the vice president's Twitter feed. He has like a 5-paragraph. He goes, okay, I'm tired of this. Let me explain to you numbnuts out there how it is that they are funding health care for illegals. And what JD did was kind of explain what I just explained, just not quite as eloquently. It's okay, Mr. Vice President. If you do an interview with me, I will work with you on your broadcast presentation. Actually, I did interview JD way back when Hillbilly Elegy came out. In any event, that's the scam, Magdalene. Now, I'm not sure how they got the extra $1.5 trillion in there, but that's why and what they want it funded for. So when you understand the mechanism, now you can explain this to almost any American person that has just a little bit of sense and is reasonable and willing to listen. I think that what I just gave you is a pretty decent explanation, to the point now where Jake Tapper, fake Tapper, is now calling Democrats out going like, no, that's not what's in that bill. You're just wrong. You did put it in. The bill that you guys agreed to back in March had it in it, and that's what you're demanding. This one doesn't. So that's, if you're wondering, well, how are they getting this health care to illegals? I just explained to you the system. It's a crime, and it needs to come to an end. And if those blue states, if they want to keep doing that, well, then I think they ought to have to fund it 100% their own, which is just another reason why, if Republicans had any stones and any sense, they would be working toward complete and total turnover of Medicaid to the states, which has been talked about. That's not a crazy idea. People have run for the presidency. Rudy Giuliani is one of the things that he ran on. I think President Trump would probably be amenable to it. That's not crazy talk. I think it's just practical.
Well, it is practical, and I think that the what you just explained needs to be explained more to the American people. Because we all feel the pressure in society when there's an influx of people who have no ability to pay for themselves or to take care of themselves. We feel it on an education level for public schools and charter schools. We feel it on medical levels. And a lot of times Republicans will sort of allude to it. They'll say there's a drain on the system. But they don't get into the weeds of what happened there. But in contrast, Republicans in Nevada in the last 2 election cycles have. And they've been very clear that that's why their social systems are there's so much chaos there. They've been very clear that that is a massive problem. And in the midterms in 2022, which were not great for Republicans, we did not perform as we thought we should have. They actually got a Republican governor who is a very hardline anti-immigration former sheriff. And he won in large part because he got into the weeds of what immigration was costing the average person in Nevada every day in terms of time, money, and resources. So if we can look at his model, I think that's a great thing to carry over nationally.
All right, Maggie, play Digital Media file number 10. This is Ashley Allison on the Clinton News Network. If you don't believe me, she's going to explain pretty much what I just explained to you.
No, she's feisty. The guy is...
Oh, Phil Williams is the one that's going to go like, no, you're just wrong. Okay, so it's Phil Williams explaining it to Ashley Allison. That's just not, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. This is how it actually works.
Fault of it is not illegal immigrants. When people go to hospitals and have to wait hours in the emergency room, you know why? Because when you pass a bill that closes rural hospitals, you have to drive, and it consolidates the amount of patients. When doctors have to work extremely long hours, my mom just had a heart procedure. The doctor had to do 50 heart catheterizations in one day. Do you think that's not because, let me tell you, not one person needed a heart
Stop the tape for
catheterization
just a second. No doctor did 50 heart catheterizations in one day. He didn't do 50 in a month. You're lying. You're lying. You don't know how that process works. You can't do 50 in a day. Shut up, fat broad liar.
Was an illegal immigrant.
I have no
Abby's
idea. But the question is,
I'm not finished. Thank you. Abby's question was, is this a way that Republicans are just using illegal immigrants to deflect the conversation?
And the answer is no.
Is yes.
No, it is
it's
not.
Yes,
You
because
refuse to look at the facts.
illegal immigrants are not the reason why our healthcare system is broken.
Yeah, it's not deflection at all. In fact, I brought receipts. So here's the CMS, the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, right here with their press release earlier this year saying they were having to increase their oversight on states like California who were abusing Medicaid and classifying it as an EUSA, an emergency system, when it wasn't. You've got the average state spends 5% of its Medicaid roughly on emergency services. California, 35 to 40%. Why would that be? Because California passed a state law that says we will fund Medicaid for illegals, and then, oh, by the way, we'll raise our provider taxes, and then, oh, by the way, we'll use that as a match to draw down federal funds. And they're using this whole cavitation process.
An accounting trick to put it on the taxpayer.
Money is fungible, and California's loophole is abusing it.
There you go. It's an accounting trick. At the end of the day, the other 49 states pay for California's illegal alien, domestic, legal alien criminal trespasser population's health care. That's how they do it.
And I think one of the things that I've seen across the board with that is that when I speak to young conservatives as well, who are talking and trying to explain to their fellow young liberals about the cost of health care and everything, the main talking point that is brought up over and over again is that the American people can't afford health care either. So the education gap and everything you're discussing is so massive that young people actually believe that the American people can't afford it, so it's okay to off-put it to other systems, because if they can't afford it, how can we expect illegal immigrants to afford it?
True story. And then finally here, there's a lot of talk out there today about, and I'm watching this now, that's not Bill Melugin. Who is that? Is he in Portland, that dude there? No, he is in Broadview, Illinois. We're just watching to see if Bill Melugin is going to grab Nick Sartor and get a little an interview with him. You know, an interesting thing, or just something about Nick's arrest. He grabbed a burning American flag, threw it on the ground, stomped it out from burning, picked the flag up, and then was about to walk away with it when the Portland police intervened. And as Maggie's been pointing out, the Democrats and the police departments that they run haven't had the stomach or the will to arrest any of the same 60 people that show up every day outside of ICE, throwing Molotov cocktails, putting people's lives at risk, destroying actual private property. But somebody rescues an American flag that's being flown, and it's being burned, rather. And now the Portland police all of a sudden want to make a literal, quote, federal case out of it, close quote. You're also now, you're going to make a folk hero out of Nick Sartor. Yep. You just created another right-wing MAGA hero by arresting him. Are these people that stupid?
I think that they are really delusional. I think they have no idea what really is happening here. The truth is, and this has bothered me for a very long time, that the Antifa takeover of major cities was not gradual. It was sort of like instantaneous back in 2018, 2019. And I think that a lot of Republicans have been covering this, discussing it, and Democrats sort of live in this delusion that they can still do whatever they want, that they can take over cities, that they can imprison unbiased reporters discussing what's happening, and it will all be okay. This is not the Trump of 2017. This is the man who's been shot. They tried to imprison him, been found guilty of bogus claims. They took away his business. His children have been subpoenaed. I think Eric Trump says he's like the most subpoenaed person in history. Yep. And with that being the case, Donald Trump just doesn't care if you don't like him anymore. And I love that.
Oh, he does again. I don't care. I don't. What was the question? That was the question. You know, that's the most stupid question I've ever heard. Get, who are you? What news? You're with fake news. It's fake news. Get out. Just get out of here. Get her out. Get her out. I mean, to see the most open, I think the probably the most open political position ever held in the history of Earth is the presidency of the United States. No one has been more willing to conduct their business and their affairs in public than Donald John Trump, Magdalene. No one. It's unprecedented. You know, when they're going to sign executive orders, the entire White House press corps is jockeying to find out which one of them are going to get to go in the room, because they know that he's going to the guy, the funny, the button-down dude that goes, Mr. President, this executive order says, and he hands him the executive order, and Trump signs it, and then shows everyone the signature, and then afterwards takes questions. Easily the most transparent and open administration in the history of administrations. No one, nowhere in the world has anyone had the kind of access to we have to the highest position and seat of power, whether you like it or not, that it's the highest position and seat of power than you had with President Trump. And I think that it does go without. I think he tells you during these press conferences who it is that you can, or who it is that he has any respect for, and who it is that he doesn't. You know, earlier in the show today, I was talking about the fact that Barry Weiss, I'm sure you saw the story, Barry Weiss has been chosen by the Ellisons to take up the lead role at CBS News. And as I was saying earlier, this now takes CBS News and makes it worse. Barry Weiss was never one of us. Barry Weiss she is literally dyed pinko commie red. She is a leftist and has been for her entire career. Not only is she a leftist, she is a Israel first pro-Zionism leftist. So what the Ellisons have done now have put a pro-Israel director in charge of Paramount, in charge of, Sundance, CBS. There's like 5 media companies that she will now be in charge of. This woman came out of the print journalism side of things. She's not in the news business. So you can see what's going on here. Trump has turned against the Israel is always right, and I must carry their water for them. It ended last Friday. And so now desperation is sinking in, and the people that have been benefiting to the tune of hundreds of millions or billions, if not trillions of dollars, and with the blank check, you can do anything you want card through the government of Israel, that is being brought to an end, or it is being curtailed. And the reaction to that is we need to buy media to control the narrative. An unbelievable. Wait, it's a favorable turn of events, but I would say just 2 weeks ago, probably not. No one thought it would happen.
No one did. And I think the side of this is that the Republican Party was so pro-Israel for so many years that the break of that changes the entire political spectrum in the United States.
Yep.
And we have to be, in my mind, we have to be careful of this, because you can be questioning what's happening with Israel. You can take objection, but we also have to guard against letting in Islamic influence as well within the Republican Party. Because just because you might not agree with Israel does not mean we have to agree with Muslim countries that Americans wouldn't be safe going to. And I think a lot of Republican commentators and influencers who are maybe newer to the field need to understand that you can have questions, you can disavow Israel and what they're doing, but don't then open the door for Islamic extremists to come in because you're criticizing Israel and they like that. Because at the end of the day, the Islamic nations are not more our friends than Israel is.
Yeah, and then there is a controversy that is building out there. And some people probably knew that this was going to happen. So, Maggie, if you queue up the last digital media file, we won't play the whole thing because I just want to give people an idea of what is happening. This is a farmer. Dude's name is Scott Farmer. He was on OMSNBC yesterday talking about soybeans and tariffs. You're going to find, all you Free Farm Fridayers are going to find this interesting.
We went from 12 billion to zero, and then, as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition. And then the Chinese buy, I think the figure is
I think that's his tractor.
Containers, ships, which is about 65,000 metric tons per ship, which is like 2.2 million bushels. So they buy 12 or 14 billion dollars worth of soybeans from the
I can't listen to that.
That's not the clip that I listened to. Anyways,
No, here. It's this.
wait a minute.
Good grief.
Was there something playing in the background?
Of course there was.
Okay. I was going like, those tractors are really loud.
on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition. And then the Chinese buy, I think the figure is 30 or 40 containers, ships, which is about 65,000 metric tons per ship, which is like 2.2 million bushels. So they buy 12 or 14 billion dollars worth of soybeans from the Argentinians after the tax holiday. And here's the caveat to it. They give $2.30 over the November board, while I'm getting 50 cents under the November board. We're going to plant canola this month. It's one of the few things we've found. It's moved into Arkansas. They're going to make renewable jet fuel and renewable diesel of it. We've never raised any. I had to get a loan from FSA to do it because it's an uninsurable crop through the federal crop insurance. But they would let me do it through the NAP insurance. Well, I can't even get the loan for it because there's nobody at the FSA office. There's nobody at the NRCS office. We shut the government down. They all went home.
How are your other farmers, for your friends, feeling? I know a lot of them are Trump supporters. Do they still feel good?
Everybody's pretty nervous. Everybody's pretty scared. There's some of the older guys that, farm out of their pocket. They're like, I'm not doing this again.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to, okay. This is what happens when you have decades of pro-Chinese, pro-foreign government, pro-foreign farmers, pro-foreign everything, tariff and import-export policy. So when Trump pulls the trigger on the tariffs and the Chinese go, President Trump, we don't get a soybean from America now, we get it from Argentina, much cheaper price, China own a soybean in Argentina. So I asked an expert, if you will, Brian Koch. I said, Brian, watch this clip, please, and call in the show and explain it. He goes, well, Mike, I can't call in the show. I got to butcher chickens here today, but I can explain it to you. Basically, this is what he says. The farmers have been forced into the commodity farming market and rely on exporting what they grow, mainly to China. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is as a result of what we call on Free Farm Friday monoculture. These are medium and large size, privately owned farms that they decided they're going to play the same game that Big Ag plays, but Big Ag plays it with bigger ag subsidies. Okay, continuing. Since the crops are heavily subsidized, historically they could buy at very low prices. The tariffs have added to that cost, so China can buy what they want from other countries at lower prices. Now, why is that? Well, because the other countries can sell the soybeans or whatever the case may be without them being subsidized. So if you subsidize something, you get more of it. It becomes more expensive. If you don't subsidize it, you actually have to sell it at a market cost, and the Argentinians can. Soybeans, grain, sorghum, cotton, and corn are all affected. Farmers got sold on feeding the world, and it's coming back to haunt them. So basically what has happened, American farmers were told, let Big Ag super process and grow and feed America. You medium-sized guys, you grow and get subsidies and you export what you make and you feed the rest of the world. Well, when the tariffs kick in and you go, well, the Chinese won't buy soybeans from us because they got to pay 100% tariff on them now, and they can get them cheaper. Now, so what this guy is basically saying is, I can't feed the Chinese people with American taxpayer dollars, American taxpayer dollar subsidized soybeans anymore. Magdalene Rose, am I supposed to cry for this farmer guy? It seems to me like he bought into a scheme or into a plan that was good for him, not good for the United States or for the American people, and even better for the Chinese. And all Trump is doing is bringing the plan to an end. So in the short run, it seems like, oh, the sky is falling, all the farmers are going to quit. Well, maybe all the stupid farmers that took the bait, and maybe they'll be replaced by farmers who go like, no, I just want to grow. I want to grow. If we need soybean, I'm going to grow them for the people that live here in Georgia or Louisiana, and we can grow soybeans in Louisiana. So I don't know if this is going to play. Are the Democrats going to try, or Democrats going to try to demonize Trump with this?
Well, I think they are. And I think that's interesting. You mentioned like the farmers, I think, for a long time have done what they wanted, and there hasn't been a lot of collaboration or coordination. And this really started under Obama, where he didn't really care, and he just utilized as much as he could to offer to other countries to weaken the American economy. So Trump has the unfortunate job of having to do a lot of course correcting. And when you have to do course correcting, things can happen where you are out of work, where there's situations that are not flying right. So Trump often gets a bad rap when it comes to farmers, because he has to course correct the trade system for the machines. He has to course correct everything. And I think that for him, I'm happy that at this point he's not desperate for everyone's approval, because I think the farmer issue could get to him. But when a president, meaning Biden, weakens the American economy and destroys people's ability to farm because of ridiculous EPA restrictions, there has to be a course correction.
All right, breaking. This just moments ago from Trump himself. Hamas has been a ruthless and, let me blow this up so I don't have to strain to read it, has been a ruthless and violent threat for many years in the Middle East. They have killed and made lives unbearably miserable, culminating with the October the 7th massacre in Israel. Babies, women, children, old people, and many young men and women, boys and girls getting ready to celebrate their future lives together. As retribution for the October 7th attack on civilization, more than 25,000 Hamas soldiers have already been killed. Most of the rest are surrounded and militarily trapped, just waiting for me to give the word go for their lives to be quickly extinguished. As for the rest, we know where and who you are, and you will be hunted down and killed. I am asking that all innocent Palestinians immediately leave this area, a potentially great future death for safer parts of Gaza. Everyone will be well cared for by those that are waiting to help. Fortunately for Hamas, however, they will be given one last chance. Great, powerful, and very rich nations of the Middle East and the surrounding areas beyond, together with the United States of America, have agreed with Israel signing on to peace after 3,000 years in the Middle East. This deal also spares the lives of all remaining Hamas fighters. The details of the document are known to the world, and it is a great one for all. We will have peace in the Middle East one way or the other. The violence and bloodshed will stop. Releases the hostages, all of them, including the bodies of those that are dead now. An agreement must be reached with Hamas by Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Washington, D.C. time. Every country has signed on. If this last chance agreement is not reached, all hell, like no one has ever seen before, will break out against Hamas. There will be peace in the Middle East one way or the other. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Trump. What does this sound like he is strategizing here?
Well, I think he's strategizing, trying to get the other Middle Eastern countries to realize that they have to play a role in this. And we've heard rumors that Jordan has tried to help coordinate peace talks, everything along those lines. But at the end of the day, the truth is, if the rest of the Arab states wanted to help and wanted to help the Palestinians, they would have a year ago. They have left Palestinians alone in this because they don't want them in their country, just like we don't want endless Palestinians in our country.
Right.
Or the UK shouldn't want them in their country. You can object to things that are happening and also say, we're not letting in endless immigration of people with a hostile viewpoint towards ours and religious extremism. It's a ridiculous situation. I think that Trump knows that he has to, on some level, get them to the table. And if they're going to constantly say that Palestinians are the victims and all of this is happening, well, then what are you doing to assist them? Because if they're under a genocide and you're sitting there in a neighboring country with a similar religion and you're doing nothing to assist them, I think that that's nonsense. And I think President Trump is frustrated. And he's also frustrated because the point of a lot of this with Israel's actions was to get those hostages back. We know that Bibi has been offered several deals to get the hostages that are the live hostages and the bodies that they have of the murdered hostages back.
Yep.
We know that he has not gone forward with those deals, and that has been a point of frustration. So if Bibi's going to, if we can get that done for Israel, there can be movement, and Bibi's going to have to accept that. They also have elections in Israel in 2026. I don't know which month, but I know it's in 2026. Bibi has been saying that he will get it all done by then. I think Trump is using future electoral pressure as well to get Bibi to the table.
Well, Netanyahu does not have a political future. He's going to, in the next vote of confidence in the Israeli parliament, he's done.
Yeah, it's not a good situation.
Well, he should have been done when they had the last vote. Somebody they blackmailed or schemed, however they did it. They got two Israeli MPs to change their vote after the vote was taken, so that he won by one vote. He's done. And he's done nothing more than damage since then. So, in reading what Trump has written here, it seems to me, and you don't know who he's talking to on the phone, he remains bullish on Qatar. It seems to me that this is more telling the Israelis, you're going to work a freaking deal out.
Yeah.
People in our chat
yeah,
people in our chat room are saying the exact opposite. I don't think you're reading that correctly. I think that what this says is that you are going to work a deal out, and then yes, Hamas, you're going to have to go and work and agree to the deal as well. You can't have the deal without the Israelis, and he very clearly is saying that for all of you other Middle Eastern states here. Dude, I went and I visited you. You guys gave me a plane. We had all this good relations here. If you want to continue to have that, you will get this done. My entire adult life, I have heard nothing about what's going on in the Mideast. I'm tired of it. I'm sure the rest of the American people are tired of it. He has to be tired of it. We don't need their oil. Quite frankly, we really don't need anything that they have over there. And I just wish the whole damn thing would be over and that there was peace. Maybe we, after this happens, we agree to unilaterally just withdraw. Just get out of the whole damn thing. But we'll find out, won't we? 6 p.m. Washington time, Sunday.
Yes, we will. And I think also just seeing the reaction on Twitter, the main thing the Israeli advocates have wanted across the board is they want the hostages home. And the truth is there's been a major break between the families and like friends and relations of the hostages and Bibi. They're not supportive of Bibi. I saw an interview recently where one of them, I think that he wants his family member's body back who was murdered by Hamas. He said Bibi has rejected peace deal after peace deal. So for the Israeli people and for the Jewish people of this world, I think if they can get the hostages back, they can pause and they can evaluate what they want to do next. But until Hamas lets those hostages back, there'll never be peace in the Middle East.
This just out from Nick Sortor moments ago. Oh, Portland police is going to absolutely hate what's coming. Lawyer up, folks. And then with a laughing, crying emoji. Announcement coming shortly. I wonder. I wonder. I wonder. I know what's going to happen. Well, I can guess that there are that Nick Sortor has seen enough of the inside of the Portland jail, was arrested by other lawbreakers, nearby were being given cookies and treats and patted on the head. Go, no, keep raping, robbing, and pillaging. Nothing's going to happen to you. Another breaking, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just announced the creation of Hulk Hogan Trail on a 2-mile portion of the Clearwater Trail, Hogan's hometown area after he passed away. There will be equipment along the trail so runners can knock out some pull-ups too. DeSantis, Hulkamania is going to live forever. You know, I should have, if I was going to do this properly, I should have. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life. And he's standing in front of a Hogan's Trail. Sign. DeSantis, the sign looks amazing. The people say it's fake. It isn't fake. When you get thrown out of the ring and you land on a concrete floor, or you get body slammed by Andre the Giant, that's massive wear and tear on your body, DeSantis said. So apparently, Magdalene, Ron DeSantis continues putting the duckies in a row for the 2028 run for the presidency.
He does. And I will say, I think that run is made up of a few people. I think it's Vance, Hegseth, if he's bold enough, and then DeSantis. And I think Rubio should do a smart thing in that he does not run for president. He just makes the agreement with whoever is going to be president that he's vice president. I think he will reach the level of power no matter who is the nominee. But honestly, Vance to me seems like one of the weakest candidates. I know that's unpopular to say, but if you're J.D. Vance and you suddenly are on a stage against Ron DeSantis, it's not going to be as easy as it was against Tim Walz.
I think that, and one final thing that is just, it's kind of cute. Maggie, if you can find it, great. If you can't, great. A woman went on X.com yesterday and sent a note to her daughter and tagged Elon in it and said, hey, daughter, can you ask Elon when the next, when the Starship launch was or something to that effect? Thanks, thanks, love. Almost like, and the daughter goes like, I don't, here it is. Aubrey Strobel is her name. Not sure who my mom thinks I am. And then here's the text message. Mom, are you busy? I need you to reach out to Elon for me. And then Aubrey Strobel says, not sure who my mom thinks I am. And then Elon comes on and goes, your mom has a question? And then she goes, oh, yes, Mr. Musk. And she forwards the question to Elon. And then Elon goes, oh, okay, I can answer that. And he answers the question, which was a question about Starship. And it was a technical question. And here it is. The question is, laughing out loud, yes, she does. Your mom has a question. Oh, my God, he replied to you. Cool. Tell him I've always wanted to take Dad to one of the rocket launches in Texas. Is there any way we can see one on the 13th? Elon, yes, public viewing of Starship is easy from South Padre Island, and the view is excellent. Also, the rocket factory and launch towers are right by a public highway.
Hilarious about this is moms for the win. I mean, this is something this mother could have easily just Googled, but she has one question that she can ask one of the richest men in the world, and this is what she asked.
And the funny thing, Magdalene, is that Elon answers it. We so need Elon back in the conversation, don't we?
We do need Elon back. I greatly miss Elon. I think if we had Elon, Stephen Miller, and Vought, like everything would be okay. It would be like a conservative promised land. We would be really fine. And I think it's really sad that Elon Musk is gone because Elon, here's what happened. Elon could tell Vought what to cut, and then Vought could tell Stephen Miller how to spin it publicly and how to do a legislative effort to make sure it never comes back again. We're missing that original piece of the circle puzzle.
Yeah, okay, breaking news. Here you go. The Department of Homeland Security is immediately surging federal resources to Portland after the arrest of independent journalist Nick Sortor. Antifa is about to have a really bad night. Cuzzy67 in the chat room says, that is the good side of social media. It's so cool that he answered her. It is cool that he answered her. That may also be Elon knowing that, I need to repair some of my public reputation, Magdalene. And I think that that's just a cool way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole, getting that conservative influencer pregnant wasn't great. I think that after that, he needed a little bit of family-friendly content. When he was posting stuff with Siobhan, the woman he has a lot of the children with, people liked that. I think that if he can move a little bit into that lane, it would be good. And if he could come back to government, I personally, and I think millions of Americans would love that.
Yeah, I think that millions of other ones would. Well, we're going to keep an eye on when the news breaks out, we break in. By the way, Magdalene and I, and you can get this on YouTube. I can make a podcast out of this. Magdalene and I, two Sundays ago, were waiting for the Charlie Kirk Memorial to start. And as usual, with all things involving Trump, it was 2 hours late to get started. But we went ahead and had a nearly 40-minute long conversation on YouTube, kind of about the future of young conservative broadcasting after Charlie Kirk. That video is actually available on YouTube. And I will make it available as a podcast, and Magdalene will distribute it. And actually, I was surprised to see that it actually, without us even promoting it properly and calling it what it is, actually had several hundred views. And I went back and I listened to it. It's actually a pretty good conversation. And I think something that it's trying to answer a question that I think needs to be answered, Magdalene. You have 4 people now filling in for Charlie Kirk. You got Stocking Cap Boy. What the hell is his name? Tim Pool. You got Tim Pool. You have the completely humorless Jack Posobiec. You have some woman who I've never heard of. I guess she was part of Real America's Voice. And another guy that I saw in Florida at RAV. And he was the C team after Bannon and whoever. So 4 people trying to fill the one chair that Charlie was filling. And that tells me that TP USA people don't think that there's anyone outside of Poole in that young, and he's not with them, out in that young, what's the word? It's not an armada. Come on, church. And that young, very large group of very active people that want to go to universities and pretend like they're Charlie and ask the questions and all that. There's no broadcasting bench there. This is what Mike Church has been talking about, Magdalene. You know this. You listeners know this. I have been talking about this for years now, pleading with people, and no one will listen. No one will listen. No one volunteers their children. No one makes a flyer. No one tells anyone else. And certainly no people bang my door down to go like, will you teach me how to live broadcast? Hell yes, I will teach you. I think that this is this is a straw that breaks proverbial camel's backs. There is no one out there, just as I told you, there is no one out there to replace Charlie. There's no one.
No.
There's me. There's me. There's me. I can do it. There's a few other people, very, very small number that actually do, because Charlie did it live every day. People misunderstand this. If you're doing a podcast, you go, hey, cut, can we cut that out in post? You can't do that on a live show. You can't do that on a live show. And I don't like to see this. And of course, I'm sure I am not on the radar screen of anyone at TPUSA. I wish that I was, but I would happily slide into that role, even if it was in the interim. And you know what? I would also happily just reach out to me or to us. I will happily train you a half a dozen next people. So, no, Schaefer, you're wrong. Schaefer, you're wrong. You're wrong. I would not have trouble talking to college kids, Schaefer, because I would just talk to college kids. So take your negativity somewhere else, buddy. Out of my chat room, pal. Hey, Magdalene Rose is a college kid, right? Are you not?
Yes.
Do I have trouble talking to you?
No, not at all.
Yeah, okay. All right. You talk to who your audience is, Schaefer. You people are ballsy, man.
Y'all are killing.
You are freaking ballsy, dude.
Too early for a drink. Simmer down.
Yeah, Schaefer's going to drive all of us to drink. My Lord. You know, I'm going to find out where Schaefer works, and I'm going to go to his place of work, and when his boss asks him to do something, I go, he's not qualified to do that. You know that he can't do that, right? All right. Magdalene, have a great weekend. If news breaks out, we will break in. And we hopefully, we don't want any bad news like that, right? So when news breaks out, we will break in. Thank you very much, and we will see you on Monday. Folks, I am going, Schaefer, I'm going to come to your house, and I'm going to tell your wife, hey, Mrs. Schaefer, don't ask him to do that. He's not capable. He doesn't understand. You're not his age. He doesn't.
He can't talk to his own wife. He's not female.
Yeah, I gotta get a nose ring. Well, first of all, I got to get the gamer's chair. They will all accept me if I have a gamer's chair, right? That's really all I need is a gamer's chair. Which Magdalene has told me for 2 years, you need the gamer's chair. Maggie goes like, you're not getting a gamer's chair. But besides the fact that gamer chair doesn't work on this platform because it's too tall. In any event, I take the job, Rush. I'm happy to Clarence Frogman Henry and take the job. Charlie wasn't tatted up. BK from Michigan. Charlie didn't. He didn't have any, did he? Charlie wasn't tatted up. By the way, I will be in New Hampshire, so Schaefer, you can come tell me personally how awfully I communicate with college kids, Schaefer, because I will be in your state and nearby next Friday at the St. Benedict Center Conference, beginning at 10 a.m. I may also, brother and I talked yesterday, I'm going to try to make it so we can video you-boob broadcast some of the talks for you guys and then put them, of course, here on the Crusade channel, as we pretty much have every year. So as soon as I can work that out and I can tell you for sure, we will announce that. Remember, in traveling to the St. Benedict Center and to broadcast this event is very expensive for us. Brother does give me a little stipend, but I don't like taking money from the St. Benedict Center. I really don't, because they need it more than we do, if you can believe that. So, anyone want to make a trip to New Hampshire, St. Benedict Center live broadcast contribution, do so. Remember, it's all tax deductible now via the 501c3 at crusadechannel.com/donate. crusadechannel.com/donate. Please shop in the store all weekend long, and I would be happy to keep the U.S. Postal Service in business, and we'll ship it to you ASAP. Join! Many people are still hearing free broadcast and are not joining the crusade. That's where the action is. We should see our numbers climbing. Join today. Ask a friend to join. You know what? If your friend is reticent, send me their contact info and I will talk them into it. My email address is well known. I am KingDude at protonmail.com. I am KingDude at protonmail.com. Website is open. I think I'm going to try if I can grab the audio real quick. We're going to play last night's Thursday night throwdown as a Friday morning throwdown. Since no one can make Thursday nights, we're going to serve it up here to you on Friday morning. So a Friday morning throwdown from Thursday night last night here on the Crusade channel. Have a safe and blessed, wonderful day of the weekend. It's the Feast of St. Therese of Lisieux, the wonderful little flower. St. Therese of Lisieux, pray for us. We'll see you soon. God bless you and Mary keep you.